Right, we're live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the final match of Six Nations, round 3 for 2022. Ireland at home at the Aviva, taking on Italy in what may be a little bit of a one-sided contest. So we will have to wait and see exactly who will be able to get themselves the points in this one. And also come on Ireland from Bob Johnson. Hello, Amish Bro, says Michelle. Welcome into the live stream, mate. Hope you're doing well. My voice, currently it's not doing terribly. Hopefully it is going to last throughout this whole live stream. We will have to wait and hope that it's going to be there at the end of this one. But if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Looking through at the Irish starting lineup. First of all, a few changes for them and a couple youngsters getting a great opportunity to try and play in that starting lineup. They've got Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, and Tyke Furlong. They will be the front row. Tyke Byrne and Ryan Beard as the 4-5 combo. Peter O'Mahony going to be there at 6. Josh Vandenfleur and Caelan Doris, one of the best loose forward trios around at the moment. They have been outstanding for their recent form. Jameson Gibson Park starts at number 9 with Joey Carberry getting the nod to start at fly half. James Lowe out on the left wing. Robbie Henshaw and Gary Ringrose, very experienced duo in the midfield, work extremely well together. And then out on the other wing, it's going to be Mackenzie Hansen, who has really taken this Irish lineup by storm when he has made his way in there. And Michael Lowry, the Ulster boy, I believe he is, going to be starting at number 15. So a good opportunity for him. And also we've got the hey, howdy, hey, yo. Hope you're all well, says Katie. And how is your voice in there, says Katie Dixon. It should hopefully be all right by tomorrow. Normally it just takes a little bit of sleep to try and really, I guess, wake it back up, which sounds weird because sleeping you would think would put it to sleep, but it wakes it up. I don't know how it works. Voices are strange. I feel like this is going to be my 4 a.m. talk. It's just how weird our bodies actually are in terms of why they work the way that they do. But this is the Italian lineup. Speaking of pronunciations. Right, here we go. It is going to be Ficchetti at number 1, Lucchesi at number 2, and then it is going to be Cicerelli at number 3. Cannone and Rusa making up the 4-5 here. Then it is Pettinelli, Lamaro, and Halafihi as 6, 7, and 8. Stephen Varney starts at number 9 with Paolo Garbisi actually at fly half once again here. So that is the combo that Italy have gone with throughout this whole Six Nations. They will be hoping that it is effective into this match up against Ireland in a game that they are really not supposed to win. Look through at the odds. No one is back in Italy here. Who knows? Maybe that could be what they need to really try and push them to the next level. Montigiani at left wing, Marin and Brex as the midfield. Bruno out on one wing, and then Piravani will be slotting in at fullback for this game. These are the benches that both sides have got. And also, come on, James Lowe, score me some fantasy points and have some hot water and honey, brother. Says James Gordon. That wasn't James Gordon. That was Gareth. And that one, yeah, I did end up, I had a nice warm-ish drink before the live stream. So I'd hate to say how bad it would sound if I didn't do that because, you know, I had a sneaky little sleep, I guess you could say, about 5 or 6 hours, which was my nighttime sleep. I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to sleep after this live stream before the test match or whether I'm staying up after the test match and then sleeping. Going to be a tricky one. Hey, obviously it's May 5. And also, you deserve a long vacation from talking, says Katie Dixon. And that is normally my midweek, I guess you could say. At the moment, the Italian national anthem is playing out at the Aviva. And also, hey, howdy, says Go Ireland, says Katie Dixon. So I guess we should start with score predictions here. What is everyone's score prediction for this game? How many points are the Irish going to be able to put here? Points differential is going to be huge for them in the Six Nation. And also, we have got their Hamish needs a shotgun honey like now system. They 5 there. Looking at the bench, Rob Herring, Dave Kilcoon, I believe that is how it's pronounced. And then also Finley Bilham will be there at number 18. Treadwell, Jack Conan as a replacement. Very useful to have coming off the bench. And that's the thing. Italy at the moment, their loose forward trio are packed. And that is why they, even like having a Jack Conan coming off the bench, you're going to have some good impact later on. Craig Casey at 9, Johnny Sexton at 10, and James Hume to be there at number 23. Fiver, Nema, Pascali, Sisi, then also Zuliani, Stein, perhaps Bramstein, I believe it is, and Fusco and Zanon going to be there. And that is the replacement 60 plus for Ireland, says Tyke Furlong there. Yeah, I'm feeling like this one's going to be a little bit one-sided. But I want Italy to surprise me. I want to see that fight that we saw from them in their first game of the Six Nations up against France. They had their moments in that game in the first half. Now the Irish national anthem is blasting at the Aviva. And it's awesome to see the crowds because, as I mentioned many times, Super Rugby, we don't have crowds at the moment. But Ireland, they have really turned up in numbers at the Aviva Stadium. Get behind their side, and hopefully Ireland will be able to put on a good performance. Also, do let me know who's going to be the first try scorer. And I'll say, yeah, Ireland 57, Italy 12, says Gareth. I'm probably not a bad shout there. And we've else got there. We've had our asses kicked by Spain, but it was fair. They deserved it, says Sebastian. I hadn't actually seen the score of that one yet, but I knew that this live stream, I would either see a happy Sebastian or a sad Sebastian, depending on the result. So did Spain play pretty well in that game? I know that they had a decent contest up against Fiji a little while ago. At the moment, the Irish national anthem is playing currently, and it's just a new feeling every single time when you're at a stadium and you can hear all the crowd getting behind their home side. And hopefully we do get to see, I'd like to see a good game from James Lowe. He has to really prove himself in this Irish lineup because Matt Hanson's going to come onto the scene and trying to cause him to get taken out of the lineup. Really, and Italy was belting at the anthem with some pretty feral faces. They're going to scrap, Ireland is going to win, but Italy is definitely going to swing some battle axes around, says Katie Dixon. I like that analogy. They're certainly going to be fighting hard, Italy. And it's more of the case of how long till the Irish wear them down. Because Ireland, they've got a four-pack that is just intimidating to a T. I'm currently singing the Irish national anthem. Peter O'Mahony, he's done it many times in the past. I see Tyke Furlong is back as well. He's also in our chat as we currently sit. We will have to wait and see how much of an impact that man can have, and whether or not he does get around 60 minutes, or they try and ease him back in after his injury, maybe only give him around that 40, because they've still got a few good options off the bench. I believe it's Finlay Bealham as the replacement if they do need him for this one, but this is the starting lineup for Ireland. We will put it up on the screen as well, so you guys can see exactly who is going to be out there, but this is who they've gone with: Portishan and Furlong as the front row, Burnham Beard as the locks, O'Mahony, with Josh Van den Fleur and Caelan Norris as the loose forward trio. Jameson Gibson Park and Joey Carberry, both there, and both young players hoping to make an impact in this Irish side. Henshaw and Ringrose as the midfield, and then that's Lowe, and also Hanson out on one wing with Lowry slotting in at fullback. This is the Italian starting lineup. As I'm Tyke, I love your fresh fade, says Katie Dixon there. This Irish side, compared to this Italian side, you would have to say they've certainly got the advantage in pretty much every aspect, unfortunately. And everyone, I'm feeling energetic tonight. Ireland wins. I've got $1,000, says Aiden. So just they have to win. Because over here, you couldn't actually still put money on Ireland to win. So I assume you're making like $2 for your $1,000 or something along those lines. And Lowry to score first, the youngster at fullback, is going to be the man who does it, perhaps. Heard it here first. Currently now, I believe it will be Ireland, who will be possibly, anything less than a bonus point here is not enough for the Irish. They will want to really dominate this game. This is the way the Six Nations table sits currently. As you can see, France 3 from 3, and they are definitely looking like a dangerous side in this competition. They would have liked to get themselves that extra bonus point, and that is the thing that Ireland, at this current point in time, can still possibly cause a bit of that upset with, because they will get themselves a possible 5 points here. They will move them up to 11. They'll be sitting in second, but of course, they've still got to try and stop the French somehow. They're going to have a good old chat with England or Wales and say, hey, boys, listen, you got to take down the French side so that we can be a little bit higher than them in the Six Nations. So we have to wait and see whether or not that will happen for it. But now kicking off this game for Ireland and Italy for the Six Nations, we are once again now going to be underway. I've realized I've got the microphone in a different spot. I actually normally have the game over here, don't I? One moment, we will move this and we will go like that and like that. There we go. Nailed it. That was a loud crack. Maybe we didn't nail it. But currently now, there's going to be Italy firing it back across on the halfway line at the moment, trying to keep this one going forward, and they can't let Ireland get any sort of momentum. It's kicked in behind by Montejuani. He actually kicked it out on the full, though. So now we'll be going back. I'll help out with the forwards' names, pronunciation Amish. It's Fischetti, Lukeshi, and Ciccarelli. Ciccarelli. I wouldn't have guessed Ciccarelli. So thank you very much for that. Right. I'm going to star that, Sebastian, because I remember it each time you guys tell me how to say it, and then I forget it as soon as the live stream ends. Unfortunately, my Italian is still about a 3 out of 10. I would say good attack and run from Gary Ringrose. Luckily, I know a few of the Irish ones, and I got to the Xbox exploding again. Just the microphone. At this point in time, good run forward from Caelan Doris. Now it will be going back. Jameson gives him back a little bit loose, but Mackenzie Hanson's got it on the halfway line. Now running backwards to go forwards. And now Jameson gives him back, goes back. Nice backline movement. Carberry getting involved. Gary Ringrose continues to make those extra meters for the Irish. Dan Sheehan looking for the offload of James Lloyd. Actually ends up hitting him on the foot. Monty Ioane is able to find the offload there. And a lot of pressure at the moment on the Irish, or on the Italians, I should say there. We will go like that. I was just moving that, but that was Pierre Bruno. And it's my last, I put Ireland in a multi that's returning 1,000, and it's my last leg, says Aiden there. So I'd like to think they would close out that multi for you, unless something crazy happens. Like the odds for Italy just to win this game, I think we're paying about $61. Now I'll run up for Lowry, the youngster. We had a Michael Lowry actually playing in the A-League for Wellington Phoenix a while ago. I presume it's a different boy, of course. And now Gibson Park going off to Mackenzie Hanson. Looks like he's putting the kick in behind, trying to make it an awkward bouncing one for the Argentine fullback. Now it's a brilliant kick downfield from Italy. Does find touch. And now from about 45 metres out, the Irish, they are going to end up having the line out. But Mackenzie Hanson, he's certainly got the pace and the potential to be able to do great things for Ireland in the future. Does play a little bit, or he used to play a little bit more of his rugby in Australia, playing for the Brumbies, I believe it was. Okay, time is off at the moment. Why is time off? Oh, okay, Gary Ringrose has already been cut open. We knew this game was going to be physical. I didn't realize we were going to have blood after 2.5 minutes. It looks like he's got a gash just above the eyeball, which is not what you want. The early stages, like they're saying, probably a few stitches for him after the game. And now seems like the sub is going to be made. So 23, James Hume makes his way out onto the field for Gary Ringrose way earlier than he would have been anticipating. And also we have got the good luck man from a little bit earlier on from Katie. But also, okay, anyone who was picking Gary Ringrose to score the first try, maybe we'll have to wait a little bit longer. James Hume now out on the field. And, I mean, that's the thing. Luckily, this early on in the game, he's probably just finished the warm-up. And also we have got there, Mama Kiwi, I'm outraged. There's Rugby Geeks here. She is probably the smartest one out of me and her because she is sleeping. So he gives it as 4:05 a.m. here in New Zealand. Jameson gives it back. Goes to the short side. Mackenzie Hanson now. With a good attacking run. Jameson gives him back now once again. Going back. It's a good attacking run. But driven backwards in that one, Ryan Beard. Henshaw now out to Furlong. Quick hands from the big Irish forwards. Gives him back. Goes back to Henshaw once again. Nice link. Oh, that was a hard hit. Unfortunately for Lowry. He's going to be met with a wall of Italian defence for a start in this match. But it's whether or not they can slowly wear them down. And that's a great run from Caelan Doris. Off to Sheehan. Joey Carberry gets it down. And that will be the first try. And Loja score a try. Surely his pace and step are insane. Says Sebastian there. And Gary Ringrose bleeds a lot. This is Katie. And also he's not a subtle bleeder. He's a dramatic bleeder. Bless him. Says Katie there as well. But that's going to be the first try of the match. And Joey Carberry. Probably not a name a lot of people would have expected to see as the first try scorer. But I think this list is going to be relatively long for Irish try scorers today. So we will go Irish try scorers, and we will add Joey Carberry. Berry or Barry? Berry, right. To get the spelling right. That is the first step to success. I just realized my scoreboard's asleep, isn't it? There we go. It's just realized the game's kicked off, and we're 4 minutes in currently. But he has got that one over Joey Carberry. So all 7 points coming from him, and try. And they're from Katie for the Irish. But a great start, and their set play currently, anytime they have a link up, seems like it's just finding hands, and whoever's there is ready to go and try and run it over the line. It was a good run from Joey Carberry in the end. He had quite a bit of work to do at the point where he did get up to the line. Currently now kicked off into the 22, taken nicely by Caelan Doris, who once again does have a decent attacking run. They've still got Ryan Beard, who is there at number 4. Tyke Byrne, that's a very good locking duo. And at line-out time, they might be able to steal themselves a few of them. James Lowe at the moment taking the hair out by the looks of it. Just annoying him a little bit. I think it's a bit tangled. That looks like it's a heavy duty hair tie as well. Better than my ones, that is for sure. And also trying Munster, Ireland. There says Sebastian, but now throwing it in, it is going to be Lukeshi. It's stolen by Ireland, but it sits up nicely for Italy with the little pop pass now. And it will be Federico Ruza. They've been told to release him, Andrew Porter, trying to bring that Irish physicality in the breakdown. And it's going to be interesting. I feel like there's always going to be that little tiny rivalry inside of the Irish team of who's going to get more tries, Ulster, Munster, or Leinster. Currently, Munster, they are 1-0 up. Actually, Ulster have now got a new signing. And Mike Lowry in the Irish team, I guess you could say, to try and give them a few extra points. There's actually not a huge amount of Ulster boys in this side, is there? When you look through, Leinster dominate alongside Munster. So it is good to see a couple more coming from Ulster in this lineup now. Passing it back, Varney. It's a loose ball. Henshaw kicks it forward. And the pressure is on Monty Ioane. In fact, it's going to be Pierre Bruno up to the halfway line. Josh Van Den Floor straight on the ball and does end up winning the penalty for Ireland. And unfortunately for Italy, as soon as you reach the ground, there's going to be an Irish loose forward sitting there ready to go. Is that bread? No, it's potatoes from Gareth. And also, that's what I was going to say. You just know there's some Leinster fans are bitter about the Munster man scoring the try. And also, Lord, here we go, says Katie Dixon. That's gone into touch. Oh, yeah, of course, that would be summoning maybe our friend Saxon, depending on how it goes. Currently 20 metres out. Ireland are once again going to have themselves a line out. Yeah, pretty much after this live stream, I should mention we are going to still have the test match that is coming for 11 a.m. New Zealand time. New Zealand versus South Africa for the cricket side of it, I should say. I guess saying test match with New Zealand versus South Africa. Everyone gets excited in the rugby community because we do get to see it twice for the Rugby Championship going off the back now. Caelan Doris, good attack and run. Now 10 metres out. Jamison Gizzenpark goes across to James Hume. Could have to be the Gary Ringrose replacement for his blood bin. Now going back to O'Mani. He's actually done extremely well. He overran it. He came back and still was there and support. Caelan Doris taken down at the kneecaps. And it's going to be a penalty to Italy. And they are fired up at the moment. I think that was Fischetti, who was very much so hyped up for being able to get the turnover. But Caelan Doris, man, and also you guys going to tell me Morse's name. It was actually Morse Bass. And there says Gareth. Wait, is Morse? Oh, do you know him? I feel like there might be a little bit of maybe either history there or you might have seen him before. And scoreboard is asleep. Are they still asleep? What are we sitting on at the moment for the scoreboard? They are asleep. They're very asleep. Whoever it is, they obviously are on the same time zone as myself because it says 0-0, which it obviously isn't. We've seen a try from Ireland already. And it looks like now we've got an injury for an Italian player. Uh-oh. Right. Well, he's off the field. So we've already lost 2 players in this game. Gary Ringrose for the blood bin getting stitches. This man now for Italy having to make his way off the field. I believe that is Fischetti. Already there. And also I saw him on during the cricket this morning. He was there and he did a stream more likely with Morse. And there's Sebastian. That's not the way that we wanted to see the early stages of this match going. 2 players off. So that's going to be actually Fiver making his way out there, which means it was Lukeshi did end up getting himself a bit injured there. But Hame Fiver out there on the field. And also, man, another injury, says Katie Dixon. Yeah, they're dropping like flies at the moment in this game. Hopefully everyone's going to be able to get through this game in one piece, but it's very hard to tell at this point in time because he didn't look like he was returning. The good news with Gary Ringrose is there's a chance that he will be, as long as they can stop him bleeding, I guess is the best way of looking at it. They can stop the blood. They can stop back in the midfield, but now Fiver straight away brought into the game and now brought straight. There he is. Gary Ringrose there with a whole heap of bandages on the head. He is back out on the field now. Currently 40 metres out from their own line here. Italy 8.5 minutes in. Scoreboard still says it's 0-0. There is a try for Italy. A try for Ireland in that. And it translates to Big Boss. Says Gareth, that doesn't even surprise me in the slightest. And I was like, yeah, Gary is back. Says Katie Dixon there. Now around the side, Ty Byrne with the bright blue headgear. That's exactly how you can tell whereabouts that man is on the field. Carberry goes back to Van den Fleur, Kalen Doris. Now with it, Gary, I believe it's Kalen Doris and Ryan Beard have decided to wear the same gear, but other than that, everyone else has different colours. Gary Ringrose having his knee taken out there. There's opposite number Marine. Now James Lowe, good attacking run, trying to roll the right way. It's a penalty to Italy though. And I believe they were able to get straight in that breakdown. And was their number 7 there, leading from the front for Lamaro. And crawling is actually the penalty against James Lowe. I think that's the first time I've seen a penalty, and they've actually had it bluntly for, crawling. I think normally they call it, the kind of double movement or kind of what's it called? I can't think of the term. I don't think I've seen it called crawling, though, when it's up on the screen. Gary Ringrose, he had his knees taken out there, and reports confirm George Vaughan has been spotted with a fake mustache somewhere in the Ukraine. Says Power Is that where he is at the moment? He's gone walkabouts, and no one can find him at the moment, George Vaughan, unless he played in the URC recently. I don't think he did from what I remember. Maybe he has. Maybe he's just come back from an injury or something. But hopefully he does get his opportunity soon. Now starting to roll themselves forward here. Fiver trying to defend it. Peter Marnie's got him by the jersey. He has offloaded it back to Varney now. First receiver, I believe it was Garabisi there. Currently Italy, they will have to make sure that they don't allow Ireland to turn over the ball, just like Ty Byrne has almost just done there. And that's a penalty to Ireland. And score some tries, Ringrose. I replace Fiku with you, says Gareth. Oh, so you're probably lucky because he did get cut open, taken off the field, and now he's all strapped up and stopped bleeding. So if he wasn't going to be strapped up there and it was a more serious injury, perhaps would have been out straight away for your point system. And that's Super Brew, isn't it? I have no idea how I would go in Super Brew. I feel like it's probably more than likely I would just predict everything the opposite of what's going to happen. That's normally the way that I do go. But Ty Byrne saw that the hands of Varney were on the ball, so went straight over the breakdown, and the physical lock was able to make that presence known and got himself the turnover for his side. Now Gibson Park goes back. James Lowe, first receiver, Ringrose, or in fact it's Robbie Henshaw, does now play the crash ball. Carberry out to Lowe, Mackenzie Hansen in a little bit of space, trying to step very close to the touchline. Has been wrestled down just inside of the Italian half-type. Furlong first carry back from injury, looking as dangerous as ever there for Furlong. Gibson Park goes to Lowe. A little bit of a juggle from Sheehan. It went backwards, though. That's what the referee has said. Now James Lowe trying to step. He has been dragged down on the halfway line. Italy are playing a physical game. And I'll tell you, Flash score woke up. All they have given them the try. I've done very nicely there. But Jameson Gibson Park now kicks a high. Hansen chasing it. Padavani takes it nicely, though. And they're going back for the original penalty advantage. And I mean, Marcus Smith at 10 for a start, surely, says Sebastian. I mean, how many man of the match performances in just the Six Nations has he had already? I think he's had at least 2 out of the 3. It kind of reminds me of what Freddie Stewart was doing in the end of year internationals. They are going to be going for the kick at 3 from 50 metres out here. That is a big shot to have for your very first kick. I believe it was offside a little bit for Ireland. It might have been Mac Hansen was advancing a little bit too quickly. In fact, they've actually pinged Ty Byrne for not retreating. Well, that one. Okay, Padavani going to be lining it up from about 48 out on the angle. I mean, it's not really the kick you'd want as your very first one of the day, but if he gets it over, it's very impressive indeed. Ireland, they are certainly on a tear at the moment at the Aviva. They win extremely often, kind of like what we saw for Twickenham for England. They have a very impressive record, but now Padavani, can he get this kick over? He's got the distance normally, but it might be like kind of when you do know that you got to kick up 48, sometimes that can play a factor. That's a brilliant strike to the ball. Goes straight over, and Padavani now makes it 7 points to 3 in favour of the Irish. So very nice kick for Padavani. That'll give him confidence early on off the boot. He's got a big smile on his face as well. I don't know whether or not he expected to strike that one as cleanly as he did. And also we have a game, says Katie Dixon. And that is one thing that I love about Italy's rugby is even though they don't win games, they still have moments in the games where they do look strong. Like, it's not just that they roll over and let teams just steamroll them. Yes, later in a game, that is normally what we see. But early on, they contest and they fight hard. And if they can continue to build on that and kind of last a bit longer in the games, then they've got a better chance of being able to propel themselves forward. It's a good kick downfield up to halfway, but Ireland going to be taking it quickly now. Caelan Doris going for the counter attack, 40 meters out, lined up by the captain Lamaro, has been able to drag him down. Gibson Park going back across to Van den Fleur. Now, still the 40 out, almost stolen. Yes, it's a penalty to Italy. Was that the number? Oh, no, it was the number 8, Halafi. I swear that was Bruno for a second. Their number 14 getting in there. Not releasing penalty against Josh Van den Fleur. And now Italy have got themselves another one here. And this will be something that hopefully we do get to see from Italy throughout the rest of this game, because it will put Ireland under pressure in the breakdown, and they will also have to make sure that the cleaners are going to be able to get straight in there. But Halafihi did end up getting their hands on the ball. Gary Ringrose, he shouldn't have to be the one trying to take out a big forward who's on the ball. Normally you would like to see one of those loose forward trio, perhaps Caelan Doris or one of the props getting in there. Total penalties, 4 against Ireland so far and 2 against Italy. So they're actually going all right here, Italy, in terms of the penalty count. Tyke Byrne. I mean, he's not really breathing heavily. Italy, they will have to make sure that their gas tank is deeper than it's probably ever been in this game, because Ireland at the Aviva is just an insane challenge. Not many sides conquer. I know one team in particular lately that didn't conquer that, and that was New Zealand. Unfortunately, they weren't quite getting themselves over the line there. But Ireland, they were the better team on the day. And also, in New Zealand went on and lost to France as well, so not a great end to last year. But I'm sure the All Blacks, they will be hoping to fight back in this year's fixture up against England. And also they got a couple of games up against Australia, South Africa, and Argentina as well. But now will be Fiver. We throw on this one in. Fiver, I believe it is. And also points on the board for Italy already. Better performance than the England one. Said Sebastian, exactly right. 33-0 in that last game for Italy. It's all improvement. Falahihi, that's not his name. Halafihi, that is the pronunciation. I got the hee around the wrong way. I sounded like Michael Jackson for a second there. Now going back to Varney. Now once again, Varney passing it back to, it was Anashio Brex. The midfield, that's a good gap. Almost open, but Omani making the tackle. And Andrew Porter getting dragged down. And currently, I don't know whether or not the Irish crowd were expecting us. And I think Italy are sick and tired of being the last kid through the lunch line. There's Katie Dixon there. And all the rumours as well saying Italy, they've got to leave the Six Nations. South Africa would be a better fit. Italy, they certainly would have been hearing that. Now they want to prove everyone why they are in the Six Nations. Imagine the scenes if there was an upset at the Aviva. The Irish team wouldn't be able to leave the stadium for about a week just in case. It's going to be a kicked high from Garabisi. Pressure on James Lowe in the air. Takes it nicely though. Does end up taking the mark. Takes the quick tab now and kicks it in behind. Still inside of his 22. And that is a brilliant kick from James Lowe. Ball bouncing out. And that is going to be about maybe 35 out from the Italian line. And nearly like, not this year, time to do something, says Katie Dixon. And I feel like even getting 1 point this year, I know it doesn't sound like a lot of points in a Six Nations where there's a possible 30 or 25 that you can get for yourself. But getting yourself in there, like getting even 1 point. 1 point for a start is a good stepping stone, I guess you'd say. Don't need South Africa in the Six Nations. We already have Scotland. That you do. And there are, of course, quite a few Scottish internationals who have got South African genes. I mean, it's just like our cricket team, isn't it, really? Half of the team's got a South African accent. And watch Hamish. And there is it the case of same old story for Italy, says Darren. At this stage, I'd say they start match well normally, but at least they have got some points, I guess, is a good start. But now James Lowe, 40 metres out. I expect Italy probably to concede 2 more tries this first half, though. Dan Sheehan goes back to Carberry. Porter hanging on to that one. Very good hands from a big prop. Also, bro, I'm just watching the England versus Wales game now. There's only 2 players of quality from the match. Welsh winger and Slade, around else average AF, says LB. So that Welsh winger would have been Cuthbert, isn't it? Like, he is actually, like, I haven't seen too much of him in the past. He looks like he's got deceptive power. Like, we know he's got pace, but that power game that he does bring a bunch, just being able to bump off a few of the challenges, certainly going to be useful. 5 tackle by Dan Sheehan there, trying to get straight on the ball for Italy. Now Carberry goes back to Gary Ringrose, sells the dummy, picked up, dropped on his back. How's your ribcage? Now it's the question fella he will be asking him. James Lowe passing it off to the right-hand side. Carberry on the halfway line. This is good defence from Italy. They are not really allowing them. That's a penalty, though. That's about as good as a jinx as you can get. Right when I said they were doing well, it's right when they end up giving away the penalty. Okay. Time is off. Okay, they're going to be checking something. I think they're checking to see if he's above the horizontal here for Gary Ringrose's tackle. Or is it? No, they're checking the 5er one. Oh. Okay, he's hit him around the chest, and maybe it's rode up a little bit. Oh, it's going to be, I think it could end up being a yellow card here for 5er. And yeah, Welsh right winger, if they use him proper, he can be a problem. And Slade just quality. The rest look average, says LB. Well, of course, Marcus Smith probably wasn't terrible throughout that match. I think he did end up with man of the match for that. But the forwards, I don't think anyone in either forward pack really hugely stood up, did they, in the game? I'm trying to think of one standout player for England. Oh, Don Brandt. Don Brandt was solid, I thought. Who else we had? The locks. Atojo won his penalties when he needed to. And Smith is overhyped, says LB. I think he has got plenty of hype behind him, but he still did pretty well in setting up that backline. I know mad card incoming. And there, says Katie, yeah, it does look like 5er might get himself in a bit of trouble. It's just whether it's yellow or red. And speaking of the tipping over the horizontal, that Fijian Druid tackles as Sebastian only got a penalty against them slash because they did actually score the try. They were just like, yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it wasn't the best tackling technique. It is the contact to the neck. Okay. Okay, this sounds like it's a yellow or a red here for 5er. Some power in that shot. I think he's getting 10 minutes off the field. I would be disappointed to see him off for the full match because they have already lost their hooker. Okay, excessive for hit goes on the chin. I think this is going to be a red. Okay. I think this is going to be a red card. And Smith isn't over. He performs at top level as well. And there's Katie Dixon and also Man Fiji and Drew. It's disappointing me. I expected more, to be honest, says LB. Although they are still extremely early on, it's a red card to 5er. What do Italy do now? They've lost 5er. He's disappointed. You can see the emotion on his face. They've already lost their other hooker. Who else have they got? One of the props is going to have to do the line-outs at this point, but you can see the emotion of 5er's face. It's going to be the red and Taco Bell is overhyped in there. And also Smith, we have got, do you think the continual lack from Italy, or with Italy, for a severe lack of pace in the backs and on the wings? I think, yeah, that's the thing. They've got Monty Ioane. He seems to be all right. And also Bruno out on the wing. It's that midfield trying to distribute the ball quick enough to let those guys have space. But this is going to be bad for Italy now. All of a sudden, it's gone from this looking like it could be a close game, or not really close, but closer than a lot of people were anticipating, to now it is going to be probably a lot of trouble for Italy. And also Northern Hemisphere Rugby, you get a card and you get a card. Everybody gets a card. And yikes, says the May 5, and I'm not even going to take that back. You just want to have a fight. You don't play for England if you don't perform good. Says Katie Dixon there now. It's going to be flung out wide. Caelan Doris, brilliant pick up there. Flicks it on the inside. Andrew Porter puts it down though. And it's going to be a little knock on. Currently, Porter, he's laughing about it. He's angry at the same time. I think it went from a laugh to a smile to an angry boy on West Rugby hot take. I've ever read of this chat, says Katie Dixon there. But now Caelan Doris, he did almost link up. That was a good flick. Little tiny little offload on the inside. But 20 minutes into this game, it's still 7 points to 3. Okay, they're going to have to go off the field, or the referee's going to try and work out who the hooker is going to be. It's Ali for Italy. This is going to now be a greenwash, bro. It's England. There's LB. But now, I think this is almost going to be uncontested scrums. Okay, so this is what we have got in these circumstances, because the first hooker is injured, second one got a red card. That now means that there's going to be uncontested scrums throughout this match, but they still need to bring in another player in that front row. So pretty much they do have to have 8 men in the fullback for the uncontested ones. I would say that's actually probably, I know it's not ideal for Italy, but it's not terrible either, because Ireland's scrum pack, we're probably going to run over them a few times in this one. We just love the excitement of the ref reaching for the bucket and seeing which colour he pulls out. As like when the nurse comes to the STD test. Oh, when Wayne Barnes pulled out the tissue, that one ties his Katie Dixon. And also, was it Wayne Barnes or Nigel Owens? Who was it? I know we've seen a couple of them have had the wrong colour before. And, this is hard to say. Palachi, I think it is. And that helps Italy, says Gareth. It actually does. Okay, this is even worse for Italy here, because someone has to come in, and that's going to be a replacement for a back. Italy have to play the rest of this game with 13 players due to uncontested scrums. Padovani can't believe it. Jeez. Okay, 17's coming on the field. I think it's Neymar, and they have to make way for Pierre Bruno. This is going to be brutal for Italy there. And I mean, you hate to see it take place, but so pretty much they had to bring in another front row player to have as a replacement. And well, that's a leveler as well, says LB, and also yikes, and got to do some rugby calculus now, says Katie. Yeah, it's a confusing situation. Everyone looks confused, but so pretty much because okay. So I have been confused big time, but the reason behind it is pretty much they had to take Pierre Bruno off the field. They have to play with 13 players for the rest of this game due to the fact that they have got uncontested scrums. So that is the reasoning behind being down to 13, because they cannot have a contested scrum. It now means the day gets from bad to worse for Italy. They're going to have someone in that 4-pack. So they've lost their winger for a prop who is not even going to be able to use that brute force in the scrum. Oh, okay. Halafi's going to get taken off the field. Wait, what is going on? Falahi, oh, he's allowed to be on the... Wait. Now, Italy, are they down to 13 or 12? I mean, they got out on the field at the moment. Italy, I'm convinced that you refs just want to give out cards. I wonder if Andy Farrell wears the old league jersey under his coat sometimes. And yeah, that's the rule that caused the Bristol Quins kerfuffle. As Gareth and Oz this game with the clown emoji there. For 5 whole minutes, this game became Italian soccer. There's Katie Dixon. So they're playing with 13 men, and it's actually going to be not just Pierre Bruno off the field, but now they've also lost Halafihi. So and I think the thing is, I already had a huge amount of respect for Peter O'Mahony, but I think he was actually saying with the referee, like they're saying that James Lowe ball on the inside, Gibson Park scores. This is going to be a brutal one. This is going to be a blood bin here up against Italy. And bottom line, Hamish, if Italy are not up to the scratch, then as a fee-paying supporter, I cannot wait for the brilliant South Africans to join the Six Nations, says Darren. Because that's the worst thing. They were in this game, Italy. They were working hard. Now Gibson Park has scored another one. Gibson Park. There we go. They've got a two-man advantage here in this game. And like they're saying, it's just going to rain tries throughout the rest of this match of the Aviva. This is going to be great for the points differential here. And I was at a laugh in there. Sometimes Italy has rugby time grr energy, and sometimes they have we should be on stallions and a vineyard energy. And now we have just her energy. And our Southern Hemisphere refs won a good game, but EU refs just stand out cards left, right, and centre. They won, but that is now going to make the score 14-0 for this one. And come on, low, score some tries. It's a good opportunity for him to score some by the looks of it. It's just drawing past. Yeah, Peter O'Mahony, actually, I think he said to the ref, like, playing with 14's hard enough. Do we really need to put them down to 13? Like, give them some sort of chance here. Like, they lost Halafihi. They've lost both of their hookers. It's uncontested scrums. I think the coach is leaving, maybe. Also, no, we just can't have the box. Or we just can't have the box in the Six Nations, says Flish. And now I don't know how else to put it, honestly. And there says the May 5, but it's kicked off now. And Italy, once again, are going to be under a huge amount of pressure. They have to be careful now. They tackle us. They might be down to 12 next little while. Now putting the ball high from Jameson, gives them back. So it's uncontested scrums here, taken nicely by Garbisi. And also, can you imagine South Africa in the Six Nations? South Africa will have full stadiums again, says Darren. Although I assume if South Africa are in the Six Nations, they wouldn't have any home games. I think they'll play all their games up Northern Hemisphere. So I guess would you be, the price to pay would be no home games for South Africa in the Six Nations. Would you be still keen for it, I guess? And they base their games out of Italy, perhaps, or somewhere in the Northern Hemisphere. Have you ever ridden a horse while you're surrounded by grapes, Hamish? It's a fun Wednesday night, says Sebastian. I have not. I haven't. The ref wants to make sure that Italy definitely lose his power bite. Kicked up behind by James Lowe. That's a brilliant kick. Monty Ioane has nothing that he can do, and South Africa will have no off-season, says power bite there. Definitely if they were in the Rugby Championships, I guess they would go off. I think Garbisi's got an injury here. It looks like he's getting some spray on the hip. And hello, says Prague. Welcome into the live stream. Oh, that's not how you pronounce your name, though, is it? Porrick. Porrick? Is it Porrick? Do let me know. But Garbisi, when he kicked that last one, ended up pulling up with the hip as well. And I don't want the Box to join Six Nations, but I think that's been the plan for a few years. We need to keep playing New Zealand often. We get enough Northern Hemisphere rugby playing in the URC to play both styles, to be honest. And also, it is a Northern Hemisphere tournament, no, says YFF. Yeah, so I assume, like, that's the other side of it. You're kind of taken away from that European side of it. And also, I don't understand this no South Africa and Six Nations rhetoric. As we don't want to play in the Six Nations, we would have to, or we would be giving up playing the two Southern Hemisphere powerhouses, play normally weaker Northern teams, and they need to tough it out with the Kiwis and the Aussies, says Flesh, and let's go Ireland. We love them potatoes, says Greg. And also, no, but will mean South Africa has an off-season because we're playing Northern Hemisphere season at the moment. Our players have no off-season. It's going to be driving his way forward once again there for Van den Fleur. Back to Jameson, Gibson Park, Joey Carberry. Anyone who is just tuning in now, Ireland have to play up against a 13-man Italy for the rest of this match now. Italy have 13 players. Says Baldrick, they do indeed. Carberry now going back across to Ryan Baird. And that is due to a red card and also uncontested scrums in this match. Joey Carberry going for the crossfield kick. Mackenzie Hansen takes it nicely. He does go into Dutch zone. What's your score prediction from here? I'm saying 60-point win for Ireland. 60's probably looking like it could go maybe even higher than that. Thank God the armchair rugby ref corruption squad is here. There's Katie Dixon, and also exactly it will weaken South Africa rugby, says power bite there. And now Josh Van den Fleur, though, breaking through a couple of the big tackles that were going to be made by Italy. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We cover every game of the Six Nations, a lot of the games of the URC, Super Rugby every single week. You just worry about your team finally winning. Anything, as I says, I'll be there. I mean, you don't really need to get too personal with it. It's more just like a statement. And they were just kind of correcting it. And also, why do they have 13, not 15? So pretty much injury to the hooker then meant the replacement hooker came out onto the field. He got a red card, which now means that due to uncontested scrums, they have to have one less side out on the field. Currently 22 metres out and looking to drive their way forward. Italy locked on some momentum, says Greg. Thank you very much, mate. Do appreciate it a lot. But currently now it is going to be getting forced backwards into their own 22. Stephen Varney going to have to put up this ball. But Halafihi and also Pierre Bruno are the two men who are missing, and he doesn't like that. I don't agree with his infantile ramblings about things he thinks he knows. And also, is this ref Georgian, Mike Adamson or Nick Berry? Right, at this stage, I believe he's French, which I feel like fire away plenty of comments. Although you would think if it was the case of, like, I know people like to say there's corruption and whatnot, but if there was, I would have thought that the French ref would rather give a red card to an Irish player that wasn't a red. Ireland get so many advantages. This isn't rugby anymore. It's soccer, says Daffy Ducks. Yeah, I would have had it as a yellow personally. And also, I think it was even Peter O'Mahony literally said, come on, guys, like, they don't need to go down to 13. I think he was trying to reason with the ref because, like, 13 against 15 against a world-class side in Ireland. They've just won themselves a penalty, though, Ireland, or Italy 15 metres out. And OB from the chat says, Scott, it seems that way a little bit. A late night live stream. Currently, Dan Sheehan, he has a penalty against them, I should say. Currently 27 minutes in. And also, Hamish, bro, sorry, a little late joining the stream. I had some work to do. And India vs Sri Lanka, the third round of the T20. And also live here at the moment and relegate the Italians, as this is becoming a joke. They have their chance, or they had their chance. It repeatedly fails. Bring on the box, says Darren. And players want to play a good game just like the fans, although these cards ruining the game, man, says LB. Exactly right. Like, I guess, yeah, it's the way the rule book's written, but I feel like it's a rough rule because, like, an injury, I would understand if the first man got red carded and then your second hooker who came out on the field get red carded. I would say play with 13 100%. But playing with 13 up against the side with 15, like, straight away you're playing rugby union versus rugby league pretty much. And there's going to be huge gaps. I miss what happens, so I won't say anything. Says Captain also. We've got there, no. He just a kid who got angry. I'm angry at my dance. He goes all out today. It's like a tough guy. He's going next to that one's going to be put up high from Varney. Up to the halfway line, taken nicely there by Peter O'Mahony. They've got the advantage as well now for here, or for Ireland. I'm trying to remember that law. But it goes down to 13 because hooker is a specialist position. And also, because of the uncontested scrums, I think also really come into it. So literally just come in to do Italy deserve. I just came in to Italy deserve to be down to 13. Unfortunately, the way the rule book's written, you would say yes, but in reality of the game situation, you would probably say no because of that injury. I would say it's just not the one that you really want to have, unfortunately. Like, injuries are rough enough to have for a player. That was a good kick for from Monty Ioane, but unfortunately tapped it back into his own in-goal area, so now 5 metres out. And also a transaction out there, they would use using slide rules and everything. And also, I stopped watching at the red card, definitely. Or defender was standing still when the ball carrier charged at him, leading with his arm. The BS says Hans, yeah. Like, I would have had it personally as a yellow at most. Like, when I saw it the first time, I was like, oh, yeah, that's the right shot. Like, kind of contact about chest. And because it just tight, like, you literally have to tickle a feather on their chin. Like, they could get me by this little piece of here. And, like, it would be in the situation of a red card or a yellow. And also, I thought we already had the lasagna conversation, says Sebastian there. And how's a French ref supposed to do his job? When they're in, potatoes, that's going to be going over. And that's going to be now the youngster Lowry who scores the try. It's given a good opportunity to other guys in the back line who don't normally score tries. At this point in time, we've got the fly half the halfback, and now Lowry has been able to get himself over the line in the 29th minute. They're one try away from the bonus point already here for Ireland, and we are still in the first half. And I thought he would have made a significant attempt to lower his body. Maybe the rest saw something we didn't. And also the massive gap between Georgia and Italy, so a relegation thing would be useless for the Six Nations. And did you see the Bledisloe Cup is only 2 games? So that's good for us. Aussies will only lose 2-0 this league. A lot of faith in his side at this stage, right? It sounds like. But yeah, I mean, I like the 3 matches, but I can kind of understand why they've gone to 2 so that they don't have an advantage or anything in the Rugby Championship. I want to say that it could be because getting to play an extra game before getting into the Rugby Championship, of course, will give you a little bit of extra, I guess, opportunity. And Hamish, Katie Dixon, Sebastian Morning all says, David, welcome into live stream, mate. We've got 15 Irish players up against 13 Italians for another 50 minutes of this game. And also good man, Peter O'Mahony, like when Jean de Villiers stuck up for the ABs when the ref said a replacement wasn't on the official match day list. Ref gave way and allowed the replacement. Yeah, if only this ref had listened to Omani, because he did still make Halafihi go off. And like, that's the thing, as a competitive side, as like someone who wants to be honest to, or wants to be, no, sorry, that was a weird sentence. Yeah, but as a side, like, you don't want an easy game. Definitely not as Ireland. They want as hard of a contest as they can get up against the Italians. So, like, theoretically, they don't want 13, like, because you're not going to be playing against 13 pretty much ever. And I will some bad red cards I can't watch, says Luke there. And hello. Okay, so, or they've only got one red card. But because of it was the hooker who was the second hooker on the field due to an injury. So because of that now, it means that they did have to go with uncontested scrums. And so it's the luck of the Irish then. And hey, brother, glad you're here. I hope you're well. And also hope you will be fine. And since joining in 2020, Italy have won the wooden spoon, finishing alone in last place 16 times from 20, says Darren. Who else has got the wooden spoon then, Darren, if you do know the stats? Is it, I'm trying to think. It's probably, I want to say sadly, Scotland's probably got one or two. I'll go Scotland's got two of them. Wales have got one, and then we'll give another one to Scotland just because I'm a brutal man. And Ireland, good team, says Oldie. They do indeed have a very strong side, and one of the worst referee decisions I've seen in recent years. It totally killed the game. Says the Perubu. Yeah, has certainly lost, I guess, that buzz that we did have early on, because Italy were fighting hard in that one. And like Oz having a man sent off versus Wales in the 2019 World Cup for a handoff riding up the tackler's chest and touching his neck, Scotland. And there says Power Bite, so it's just Scotland, is it, for the other four? And also, yeah, Katie, I'm fine, thank you. Says Michelle now firing it back across 40 metres out from the line. Padovani, I believe it was, distributing it to Lamero. And also Sleepy Hamish, also Sassy Hamish. And there says May 5. Maybe. Although I don't think I got too much sass in me overall. But yeah, it just seems, it's unfortunate for this circumstance, because I know that Ireland, if they had the choice, if the referee was like, would you guys prefer to play up against 14 or 13? They would say 14. James Sloan not able to kick that one, but it's going back. The guy just where YouTube has unsubbed me from your channel multiple times. Now, does this happen to anyone else? Says Copter. They must not like us. YouTube overall, I think we've got a love-hate relationship with YouTube overall. And also, Rickman, 13 men versus 16 men as a ref is always on Ireland's side in every single match. Says Nut. And also, oh my goodness, how did he miss that kick? Says James Lowe. And Ireland has won the wooden spoon 29 times, followed by Scotland on 21 and England on 19 and Wales on 16. Oh, so that's a stat and a half. So France have never taken a wooden spoon. Impressive from France. And also, where's the ref from? He is from France. Speaking of France, and do you think who do you think will won the Four Nations? Is that the Irish Rugby Championship we are talking? I'd say it's probably between New Zealand and South Africa. At this stage, South Africa having home games, I do like their chances of being able to go maybe 2-0 up against the All Blacks and Cherbourg. Do you think Box versus ABs are the top games? Says Perth. They are always very exciting. New Zealand versus Australia as well for that Bledisloe Cup rivalry. I do enjoy seeing South Africa versus England as of late has been a great match to watch as well. And then Fleur now looking for the link-up pass on the outside. Gary Ringrose juggles it, and YouTube needs to get it over it, says David earlier. And also that's including the Five Nations, says the builder over there. And why not join morning stream in New Zealand versus South Africa test match? It was probably the middle of the night for Katie, I would assume there. So yeah, she probably decided it'd be a good idea to get some sleep, which is probably what I should do after this one. It's a weird time zone, brother. It's usually on at 1 or 2 a.m. for me. And I believe France has won the wooden spoon about a dozen times in the comp's history, says the Perubu there and Coptaz, but I agree. And there, someone's getting some more spray. Of course, cool spray does do the job for, I guess, short term, just ends up getting rid of the stinger. It looks like they're going to lose another prop here. It's now Fischetti who is down. Is he all right? I think he's going to be continuing. The last thing Italy need is more injuries, because then both props are already out on the field if he went off. But luckily, looks like he will be continuing. Apparently 3 tries for Ireland. I think personally, anything under 50 points here for Ireland, they'd probably be a little bit disappointed with. And All Blacks are the team to watch. There's MH Shoy there. It should be very exciting. We're actually only about 160 days away, which I know sounds like a huge amount, but that's 5 months. And 5 months this year, last year, just flies by. And I was at 17 in a squad of 23 players, or at the discretion of the match organizer, a player whose departure has caused the referee to order uncontested scrums cannot be replaced. This ain't a rugby game no more, says Dean Adams. Yeah, it's certainly going to be a lot more one-sided for the later stages. I think if we have all our players boxed, we'll probably win it, says LB. Because there's the new law, isn't there, for the Springboks? How do they have to be playing in South Africa for like the Currie Cup or the URC to be able to be selected as a Springbok now? Is that the new one, or is that not quite right? In France, that's 13 Woodsman. Sorry, says Darren. Yeah, morning, Amish. Just, you are well, bud. Oh, boy, that voice is almost gone. Italy played well until the red card. Go Ireland, says Bertie V. Yeah, doing very well. The voice, it is on and off at the moment. We did 18 hours of live streams yesterday. Geez, when I say that, that's way too many, isn't it? But now going back across to Gary Ringrose, 18 hours, about 24-hour period. In fact, maybe even less than a 24-hour period. And now Carberry, ball on the outside out to Peter O'Mahony. And now close to the touchline. And also, I want an immediate update on the Malaysian weather. I want it now, says Sebastian there. And now everyone is eligible. Did they take out that rule? I know that there was about a month or two ago they was considering changing like the selection status, but I assume that one didn't quite pass through. Caelan Doris, no, it's actually Ryan Baird now trying to run it hard. And this is a good opportunity for some of those Irish forwards to get a good opportunity to really show off what they can do. That pass, the ball straight into the Italian player. I believe it's not a knock on. He wasn't able to get the hands to it. Mackenzie Hansen now carrying forward 40 metres out. Gibson Park goes to the short side. Beard looks on the outside. Saw it was Henshaw. They've got the advantage now for Ireland. And Honey Salt and Lemon take warm, or take them warm out with your voice, Amish, says MH Troy. Now going back once again, James Lowe looking for the draw and pass. O'Mahony's actually tackled himself, but he found the pass out to Lowry on the outside. Currently 20 metres out, and Ireland continue to build up their phases. Going back nicely, Josh Brandon Fleur running straight at the Italian fullback. That was actually the number 17 to make the tackle, and he is out there for the rest of this one. 18 hours. Oh, what a bloody mad lad. I'd fall asleep in 1 hour stream. I did what you did. That's a try, and Peter O'Mahony scores it. The captain now does end up picking up the try. He's not the captain, though, is he? Or is he? Who is the Irish captain? Is it Peter O'Mahony? I think it is. It is Peter O'Mahony, I believe it is. O'Mahony, we will quickly write him down, and then we will read the rest of the chat. That was scored in the 37th minute, and that is a bonus point now for them already. It'll go like this. And also 40 degrees in South Africa today, and you're a legend, Amish. Always, they're always top quality. And thank you, says Darren, so no worries at all, mate. And like, that's the thing. 18 hours doesn't feel like 18 hours when we're doing like the live streams. It just flies by completely. I believe South Africa could not join in. You have to find someone on the Northern Hemisphere side of the blue ball, says YFF. And yeah, you want to kind of keep it in that European region, I think, is the kind of mindset they've got at the moment on the drive for the Irish. And also he said that with such authority. And also you're cooked at 40 degrees, says MH Choi. And I was like, oh, well, as this is no longer a watchable game of rugby, I'm off to watch an older game, maybe something from 2019 World Cup. Good call. Yeah, it's unfortunate that is the way that it's going. Carberry. Oh, that was a decent kick, but it did just go away to the side. Scored now 24 points to 3. And Peter O'Mahony, I mean, he'll take the try, but he probably would have liked scoring up against a few more individuals. I've just realised the 4 try scorers, other than the exception of probably Jameson Gibson Park, are players for Ireland we don't normally see scoring tries. Like when you think of Irish try scorers, you think of James Lowe, you think of maybe one of those guys in the fullback, maybe a Sheehan, Tyke Furlong, Josh Van den Fleur, all those big boys. And it's actually everyone else at this point in time, and only MH Joy provides us with the weather forecast in Malaysia. I miss it. Says Sebastian there, and will it be Chelsea or Liverpool this afternoon? Is Darren. Have they both got all their players? It's actually, is that the FA Cup? No. Which one is it? Is it the Emirates FA Cup? No. The other one. What's the other cup called? Can't think of the name of it, but it's the final, isn't it? Can't think of the name. It's going to annoy me now because I can't think of it. And I hope Italy come back in the second half with a feral look in the eyes and fighting spirit in their hearts, because they can do this. And it's going to be setting up almost nicely, and Irish rugby really needed this Says the flesh in there. And League Cup, that is what it is. So another penalty. It's actually against Ireland. So now it is going to be Italy. Like, that's the thing. Ireland, the upcoming fixtures. One moment. We will go like this. We will go like this. And we go bang. Who they got? They've got England next week or the week after. So they wanted a tough game here up against Italy, who really started pushing them, I would have thought, so that they can get some momentum heading into that English game and try and take them out of second place. Currently now, Padovani. And also, I mean, we see these guys in the back line are going to be tired. They're going to be taking the 3 points here, Italy, because this will take us into halftime. And like they're saying, as promising of a start as it was, now it's going to be a lot closer for a runaway. But that's gone over. So 6 points to Italy here and 24 to Ireland at halftime. I'm going to have another drink before my voice ends up disappearing. So I think Liverpool. Darren, going back to your question, even though Chelsea have a good side, I'm going to go to Liverpool. I feel like I know a few more of their players. And if they've got their full strength side for it. Actually, the Premier League's going on at the moment, isn't it? Like, there's that much, like, football, basketball, rugby all around the world at halftime. And there it says Katie Dixon, halftime change sides. The Oranges. I feel sorry for Ireland, even though I'm supporting Ireland. And there says Bob Jobs. Wait, I feel sorry. I assume that's for Italy, maybe, even though I support Ireland. I feel bad for them as well. I don't think, like, any Irish supporters like us sitting there going, yeah, got them down to 13. Come on. I think it's more of the case of, like, all we know is going to win now, and probably know he's going to win quite comfortably. What's happening in the Premier League? It's currently 1-0 to West Ham. Okay, up against the Wolves. So the next game, Liverpool play in 6 days' time. Oh, they've actually got a little bit of time off to be able to play that one. I can't find, does anyone know a good site to stream? What country are you in? Joshua, do let me know. I think Six Nations. Where have we got the game? Depending on the country you're in, I think there are some free options if you've got a VPN. And also, we've got the Irish Chicks and Tea for real in there. And would you have preferred a yellow, says Smithy? Me too. And in fairness, what professional rugby players crave more than anything is a break from hard graft. They're ready for England already. An easy game will help them before next week, says Power Bite. Yeah, they won't mind a little bit. I guess it's the thing that goes alongside it. Yes, they won't or they would have preferred a few more players out of the field, but it also gives these young guys a chance to kind of make their way into the side. And like Michael Lowry at number 15, it'll be doing him wonders, getting a little bit more space to be able to try and work it out. And also, Italy allowed 2 more penalties for my 12 prediction, says Gareth, and 25 degrees Celsius at midnight with a very high humidity of 89% and a wind of 0 degrees. Yes, 0. Feels like 30 degrees, and England are up there for Ireland to bump or to thump them. And also, they were a tad unlucky yesterday. And can I please say one more thing about Italy, please? Basically, you've had your chance that you played our cousins in South Africa will be a very welcome addition to the Six Nations, says Darren. But yeah, I think even South Africa themselves turned it down. They were like, nah, we don't want to. Or not so much we don't want to, but we don't think it's the best idea because we want to play in like the Southern Hemisphere. Maybe one day they might consider it. But for now, I think they're happy enough getting to go up against the New Zealand sides. And then Northern Hemisphere, they still go up against them for the URC. And I think that's helping them train for that World Cup. Also, England weren't lucky. Wales were poor. But France should be both. And there's Smithy. And also, yeah, what's up with Wales? And also, Ireland need to win with some big score points difference. That could be important with no Grand Slam. Or if no Grand Slam, because currently, one moment, we will go like this and we will go like that. Boom. That is the way we are sitting. So the points differential currently for France is sitting at plus 52. Ireland here, if they get themselves a win, they'll move up to 11 points. And that will actually be a big, I guess you could say, a big success for Ireland, because if France lose to either England or Wales, that will mean that Ireland have a chance of being able to overtake them. That wasn't quite a sentence, was it? Currently, 4 tries, Carberry, Gibson Park, Lowry, and then also It was Peter O'Mahony who was able to score the fourth. So Ireland getting that bonus point already here. So they will move up to 11. And their points differential, I mean, how many is that? My maths is going to test my 5 a.m. brain here. 16 plus a few, be 40. They need about 37 points more to be able to be ahead of Ireland or ahead of France. Points differential. But it's going to be a tricky one. And also Wales are brilliant, but are a small nation, so unless everyone is switched on, they fail. And there says Darren. And also England have to face France and Paris. Bollocks, says Sebastian. Yeah, it's going to be a tricky game for them. Anyone wondering about the games that we have got coming up in the near future, though? We will go like this and we will go like that. France versus Wales, that is in 12 days' time, 9 a.m. Oh, that's actually normal time, but it's on Saturday. Why is it a normal time game? Normally they're like this. Normally, that's gonna stump me big time. That's gonna be an early morning Saturday start, which is probably, I guess, well, this is an early morning Monday start. We're currently sitting at 5 a.m. But yeah, all of the other games have been at random hours. So that one will be an interesting one. Italy, Scotland. I'm curious to see how that one goes. And then England taking on Ireland at Twickenham. Also looking through the other fixtures that we have had so far. In this round, we had 23-19 in favour of England. Almost an amazing comeback from Wales. And then France able to get themselves a comfortable win over Scotland. And at the end, and also we have got their bring back Gavin Henson. And how much money does the championship generate as opposed to the Six Nations? I assume we're a lot less because we haven't really got as big of an audience. Although, the thing is, like, I love the fact that, and I could be wrong here, Flesh, and you might have to confirm this, in England, Scotland, and Ireland, I think it is, maybe Wales as well, Six Nations is free to air, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. Always wrong. But is that the case that you guys can actually watch these games for free? And thanks, Katie. We're Sir George, the legend, and his own lunchtime. Jeez, Darren. The legend in his own lunchtime. Did he tell the story on live stream about how he cooked cheese toasties with the plastic on the cheese? Was that on live stream or just after a live stream? It might have been just after a live stream. Forget I said that. Also, Friday night here, says Flesh in. And also, we've got that how much chance you give Black Cats to win and chase the score on day 5. At this stage, they need to get South Africa out for probably under 280 is a big number that they will be trying to make sure that they don't end up going over. If they do go over that, then it's going to be a tough one. But I believe we will be doing that live stream from around 10:55 onwards in the day. I'll end up having a sleep after this live stream finishes and then be waking up rearing to go for another match or another day of that test match. As much as I'd like to say, oh, yeah, I could stay up all night now, I would say, yeah, no, it's probably not going to be able to work, or else I'll be sitting there tomorrow on the test match going like that. Like last night was tricky. Or like that second last session, I ended up putting a cold tissue on the back of my neck just to try and stay awake. Like I dipped it in water and then I just slapped it on the back of my neck. And England games are on ITV, so free year. Also, they're free year. And Sebastian, see, that's what we need more of in the Southern Hemisphere. We need free rugby. Super Rugby, you got to buy Sky for about $400 a year if you want to watch Super Rugby. And it just, like, free to air is the way to go, I think, because you're still getting the advertisements and whatnot, and you're getting people's eyes on the game that might not have been watching the game otherwise. So I feel like that is what you kind of need to keep growing the game of rugby. Because at the end of the day, if you get it all behind subscription-based things, then your revenue slowly will dip off. Encourage time in New Zealand so late. How you not sleep, Hamish? You must have, or you have so much strength, says Coding. I mean, I guess for the strength that I lack in like actual strength, I guess I make up for being awake at random hours. We'll go with that. And I was like, brilliant, said George. The last time I saw him, he was struggling to put headphones on, says Darren. And I was like, George, why are you like this? And it's his Aries energy, says Katie Dixon. And also, I enjoy watching the Six Nations now compared to a few years back. And that's the thing. Last year or the year before, I think it was. Or I think it was actually last year. We did our first Six Nations live stream. I had no idea who any of the players were. And now, like, all the sides I know pretty well. And it just shows how quickly, like, I guess when you're watching rugby all the time, you can kind of pick up on names. And hello from Italy, but from 1999 living in Galway, Ireland, says Renzo there. So welcome into the live stream. Currently 26 or 24 points to 6 at halftime here. Ireland, they are playing up against a 13-man Italy side. So it is going to be tough for them in the second half for Italy. But hopefully we get to see some form of fight in this one. But, I mean, the benches, you would say the advantage has definitely got to go to Italy now. They've got more men that they can bring off the bench. They've already brought out Fiver. He got a red card. So Neymar also out on the field now. And it will be uncontested in the scrums. Although, luckily, we haven't had too many scrums as of yet. Throughout the Irish side, we've got Herring, Kilcoen, Bellam, Treadwell, Conan, Casey, Johnny Sexton, and then James Hume, sorry. It is, in fact, and he's already had a little bit of a cameo, and Galway is pronounced Galway, okay. I will try my best to remember that one. So Galway, right. And also the smiley face from Renzo. Welcome, Renzo, says Katie Dixon there, but currently just waiting for the second half to get underway, and we don't need South Africa, and it won't stop since Golden. Yeah, in the chat, I love Ireland and the Irish, says Lorenzo. So you will certainly be enjoying this result at this point. And yeah, Ireland, if they win this game, if they win against England and they win against Scotland, they are going to definitely be able to get themselves, I'd say at least second, but it's whether or not France lose a game for whether they will be able to get over the line and win the Six Nations. Mostly, but due to our sheer bigger populations, we have to make more money up here. The UK has some protected sports that has to be free to view, says Fleshin. Like, that's the thing, though. Free to air still makes more money off advertisers than, like, subscription services that no one buys. So I feel like you guys are doing it right in the Northern Hemisphere. You have a lot of highlights that go up on YouTube and everything, which is nice. To be able to see Six Nations is more of a kick and clap game. In the past, it's more open, expansive now, which is great to watch, says David the Mod. Yeah, Ireland, they are very good with their attack when they do get that set piece going. It is very nice to watch. It's great on the eye, like when you just see all the passes perfectly linking up. It's one after the other. But currently, we have got there who's the people, the team in there, says Gareth. This could be a dark rabbit hole, couldn't it? That we go down here. Currently, the Ireland try scorers. So then there, Carberry was the first man to score the try in the 4th minute. Then it was a Gibson Bark. And then Lowry, I should say, the fullback, the young fullback. And then it was Omani. And also, I love England and English too. Good no, out of Europe slavery. Good job, says Lorenzo there. And also Galway is my favourite Irish world-class flutist. And there, Sir Galway, I should say. I probably still pronounce some names wrong, don't I? I'm glad that I pronounce Omani right, though. So I used to call him Peter O'Mahony, and everyone used to laugh at me and just say, "What are you doing?" Like it's Omani. I'll be like, Peter O'Mahony, and they'll be like, "No, Mahoney, no Mahoney," because it's weird. It's almost my knee, but Mahoney. It's like gangster way of saying that your knee is there. And I also got to go now, my friend. But keep up the good work. Well done. And please don't wake up your parents, says Tara. So I will try my best that the chat is kicking off again, says Sebastian there. But currently just waiting for the second half. Probably can't come quick enough. And also Gal like ball. And there. So ball, Galway. That's a good way of describing it, David. So Galway. So it's not Galway. I've been saying Galway for a long time. I think that's because I say Galloway. But I think that is how you pronounce the last name, Galloway. But Galway. Right, we got it. It's in the head now. I'll probably forget it next week. So you have to remind me again. But hopefully we don't end up forgetting too many of the name pronunciations overall. I know that Italy, outside of the Six Nations, I'm not going to remember too many of their players. I think I'll remember the captain, Lamaro. I'll probably remember Garbisi. And also Padavani, Montejoani. And then other than that, though, I mean, I know Fiver, unfortunately, getting the red card in this game. Fischetti, hopefully I'll remember the pronunciation of that one. And then Stephen Varney, Halafihi, and everyone along those lines. Hopefully I can remember some Italian names heading into the future. But currently just waiting for the second half. It always feels like a longer break when you're waiting for it to start, I have a feeling. But currently 40 minutes left. And then it is going to be probably about 6 a.m. here in New Zealand. And then we will be going back to sleep till 10:30 waking up, and then we will be covering the Test match day 3 with myself and my mumsy for that one. So hopefully the eyeballs will be well and truly rested by that point. But now Ireland making their way back out onto the field. Now I'm excited to see what we get to expect in the second half. I mean, if you're Ireland, you can probably almost make your subs now, or at least a couple of them. Give some guys who are on the bench a bit more of a run round, perhaps. Now making their way out onto the field here is the French referee. And like they're saying, you do have to feel sorry for the referee as well. I think they all agreed, though, for the 3. But James Lowe here is going to be ready to go for the second half. Can Italy score themselves a try in this match? That's probably the big question here. He looks familiar. That was Michael Lowry. That is why he looks familiar, because he's only just come into the team. But now ready to go here, Italy. It is going to be Joey Carberry kicking off the second half of round 3 of the Six Nations. This is the last game that we are going to get to see of round 3. And Black Cats chase should be epic, says Sebastian. And yeah, it is going to be a pretty awesome one to see how they go. They do need to bowl out South Africa with about, I would say, if they can get them out for under 275, that would be huge for the Black Caps. But more than likely, it's going to be closer. We won last year. One of my 4 times 100 meter winners' gold medal was my friend, says Renzo. So that's pretty awesome. Yeah, friends with a gold medalist. It's gone up. That's going to be nicely taken. Monty Ioane trying to drive Lowry backwards. Will you cover Australia Tour of Pakistan happening for the first time after so many years as competitive test matches and T20? Says Cody. I would say hopefully some of the sessions, depending on the overlaps, we'll probably end up covering certain days, kind of dependent on what else is happening at that time. And this is just bullying, says Jack Cooney. Yeah, we did want it a little bit closer between the two sides. It was a good, probably first 15 minutes or so were pretty well contested by Italy. But now with 13 men up against 15, you know that the gas tank is just going to be running on empty in the later stages. But still, Italy win penalties. And also, we have to ask this, is the Six Nations more fun than the Rugby Championship? Says Fleshin. Okay. It's a great question. I feel like as a Kiwi, like if I didn't say the Rugby Championship, I would have to move to the Northern Hemisphere. Have you got a couch, Fleshin? So if you've got a couch, I could say the Six Nations and get a trip up to the Northern Hemisphere, go to the stadiums. But I'd say they're both unique in their own ways. And I know that's such a boring answer, isn't it? But like the Rugby Championship, you're probably going to see a different style of rugby played than the Six Nations. But I just love both of them. Like I love watching French rugby, which is something that some people hate watching because it is based off kicking, but it's just a little bit more, I guess, a different tactic to look at. High jump too, says Renzo. Hello, Amish. Thanks for the stream. Says Kevin, welcome into the live stream, mate. I hope you are doing well currently. Go to BC trying to line up this kick. Strikes it all right. Oh, it's missed. For Iran at the moment. Or are there any current rugby museums in existence? I'm curious. Oh. Rugby museums, not that I know of, but I would go to one if there was one up the road. Probably Kilcoyne now going to be making his way out onto the field, and that is replacing Andrew Porter, is it? Although it looks like he's getting strapped up and he might continue here, Andrew Porter. The last thing you want is an injury here for Ireland, though. Nah, Porter's going to continue. It's the thing. He was about to make his way onto the field. He literally sat there, got his leg strapped, Porter, and then he just ran somewhere. So I assume he was just showing the coach, my leg's still good, mate. Keep me out here for a bit longer. And I would spend a whole day at the Rugby Museum. Says Katie Dixon. I feel like England would have one, wouldn't they? And Worcestershire and Bath, I would have some sort of museum, says Gareth. Yeah, they've got a lot of, they've got a big history. I think Mac Hansen just took an elbow or something to the chin there, which wouldn't have felt too comfortable. But currently 40 meters out here, almost stolen, and it is stolen. And the penalty, and from the side, in fact, it was for Neymar, so getting himself penalised. Currently another 37 minutes left in this game between these two nations. If Italy do end up keeping England to, or sorry, not England, to keeping Ireland to less than, I believe I worked out, it was 38 points ahead. That does mean that the points differential will still be in favour of France, but they did have their extra win. But Ireland have got themselves the extra bonus point. So France, if they lose to England or they do lose to Wales, and the whole Six Nations could be turned on its head. I hope so. Bath is the number one Northern Hemisphere city I want to visit soon, says Katie. And I always find like the scenery around Bath, like for their games, is just awesome. Like you see the whole kind of old, I guess, what's it called? Not really medieval, but it's kind of like the older style of design. It just looks very nice. And Bath is my Paris, says Katie Dixon. And which city would you vouch for in terms of opening first rugby museum, says Sebastian? Southern Hemisphere. I feel like having one in South Africa would be kind of cool, like in Johannesburg or somewhere like that. Because I feel like you've got to have the World Cup from ages ago with kind of like some sort of Nelson Mandela, like kind of shaking the hand, the stupid rules. It's ruined the game for everyone, says Martin there. Yes, certainly not what anyone wanted to see was 15 against 13. Jamison gives a park, kicks it in behind, taken nicely. And then we'll be going back for the penalty. And the Bath Abbey in the background at the rec, says it was there from Katie. I mean, Twickenham somewhere around there would be kind of cool. Maybe like just down the road from Twickenham if it was in England. Maybe like that. And also, how do these rugby games tournaments earn money? Do pay-per-view subscription kind of model of TV ad TV advertisement? So pretty much some of them do have a subscription-based one, not the Six Nations though. I believe that's pretty much all down to licensing and also kind of TV advertisements like you mentioned there. And also I have a man cave and actually have a Kiwi mate from Donnybrook, sorry. Donnybrook, I believe I pronounced that correctly, who would help to make you welcome. And there says Flesh. And so it sounds like I get to move to the Northern Hemisphere. That sounds all right. And what are your thoughts on Finn Russell? Red card yesterday. My opinion should yellow, says Kevin. Did he get a red card, Finn Russell? When did Finn Russell get a red card? Am I thinking of the wrong person, maybe? France versus Scotland, that would have been, I assume. They're currently now 40 metres out. Going back across here, Byrne going off to Kilcoyne, getting one of his first carries since replacing Porter. The earlier stages of the second half, good flat ball to Josh Van den Fleur. Once again, straight on the ball, penalty to Italy. And also we have got the hello dear Katie. And there says Kevin. I'm trying to remember what happened in that game yesterday. I feel like I don't remember half of it. I was everywhere in New Zealand. Would you rather play France or South Africa in the World Cup? Says Smitty. Okay. Oh, it's a great question. So personally, I would prefer to face South Africa because I love watching those two sides play. And also, if it's the final, theoretically, it means that we've both done all right to get through to that stage. So either way, Southern Hemisphere is winning it. France, though, I do love watching us play France because it's an intriguing contest with how far French rugby has come in recent times. Can I have both? Although saying that, New Zealand might actually have both. Now I think about it, because France are in our pool, and I think if the kind of results go the way that they could, South Africa might be our quarterfinal or semi-final opponent. And maybe we do get to see both of those matchups take place. Now, once again, Italy trying to just build up some phases. That's going to be stolen by Ireland, but they're going back for the initial knock-on. In fact, it's an infringement at the last breakdown. From Viv to Italy, but it's uncontested, so they will actually get to retain this ball. Marnie doing nicely, and you'll never be commentating on the cricket tonight, will you, Hamish? Says Darren. I think we will be. I think I'll end up going to sleep at about 6 a.m., waking up at around 10:30, and then rearing to go for another 8 hours of live commentary. Sky TV outbid TVNZ in the early 90s, says David the Mod. So yeah, over here it is Sky for us, and then also in the UK it is free to air. And I just got to ask, are there any Shinty hurling fans in the chat? Says Katie, now going to be passed wide. Good work from the big number 6, which for this one is Pettinelli. And there's a museum in Twickenham, says Gareth. I thought that they would, like, if they didn't already have one, it seems like it would be a good place to put one. Monty Ioane driven backwards by Caelan Doris. We're going to be available now for them. Roll this ball backwards. Rush defense there, just getting it a little bit wrong. Also got his face stood on there, Kilcuin. And I was like, okay, please no swearing. And there says Darren. And also, a little bit earlier on, we did have, if you were, I guess, Smitty, what way would you go? Would you rather see New Zealand versus South Africa or New Zealand versus France if you did have the opportunity. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're getting closer and closer to that 10,000. So if you do want to help us out, please do. And I'll say you're the best. Thanks, man. Is it near Big Stoop or Little Stoop? Says Katie. 9 penalties against Ireland. That's probably one thing in this match they will really look to improve is that discipline side of it. And also self-stand, says Gareth. And now it looks like another sub being made by Italy. It is going to be Canoni coming off the field, and that will be for Zuliani. Is now out there at number 20. Dan Sheehan had a relatively quiet game, but I guess that is because normally you see him a little bit more in the scrums. But uncontested, the scrums are just kind of I guess not really a novelty, but they're just a part of the game that we don't really get to see the, little battle that we would normally see. Now going back. Jameson gives him back. Now Carberry, backline movement. Matt Hansen, the draw and pass. Now one more out to James Lowe down the wing. Being tackled, his foot was in touch though. And like a little bit of shinty and hurling, and Italy should have refused to play the second half. This game is a joke. Rugby Union should be ashamed with their stupid rules spoiled an afternoon of rugby for all spectators, says Derek. It certainly wasn't what we thought was going to be happening in this game. Like, that's the thing. I think the thing that makes it just that little bit more painful is the fact that Italy were doing well at the time. Like, so for them to lose their player, uncontested scrums, 13 men on the field, like Halafihi was looking good for them. He had to come off the field. Bruno was looking good. He had to come off the field. So it was almost taking away two of their better players in that first 10 or 15 minutes. And be stolen there by Italy in the line out. So a little bit of a mistake from the Irish there. Now going back and kicks it into touch. It's a good kick. Bit of a yawn for myself. To be expected though, since it is at 5:20 a.m. here. And also nice to have a favourite shinty team, but I need a hurling team to follow. Who do you recommend for a hurling team I should watch? Here's Katie. And once again, Dan Sheehan going to be thrown in this one for Ireland. The Aviva Stadium, they've still got a large amount in attendance for this match, which is always nice to see. And now Sheehan's starting to creep forward here with the rolling more. I believe that Italian player, he will have to let go, although his arm, I think, was stuck in there. Now he is off the back. And now going across, Gibson Park gives it off to Henshaw. Carberry back to Lowe. This is starting to open up here for the Irish once again. It's going to be the quick step and feed of Lowry. Did almost run straight behind his own player, Gary Ringrose. And I can't argue with that, says David the Mod there. And I hope the Scousers for this afternoon. Do you know what Scousers are, Hamish? Is that people from Scouse? Scouse, is that from Jersey? No. Not too sure if I got the right region. Scouse is, or Wales. Is it Wales? They've got quite strong accents, the Scouse, don't they? Now currently only a few metres out. Ireland taking the quick tap. Tyke Byrne now trying to run it straight through the middle. Does go down straight on the ball for Italy. Almost able to turn it over now. Gibson Park. Going to be a rush defence, and James Lowe scores the try for Ireland, and that is going to be the fifth one of the match now. And we will go like this, and we will go like this. James Lowe scores it in the 51st minute, and now that will be the first of the second half, probably not the last, though. And we will go like that as well. And also we've got there, thanks, Darren, and Scousers off from Liverpool. That's where the strong accent came from. I can't do a Liverpool accent. I'm trying to think of Darren Till from the UFC. I feel like that's the best chance I got to have a UFC accent. From Liverpool. I can't do it. Paul. And also, Scousers are from Liverpool. Sorry if I'm wrong, and I offended you. Also, I do a bit of hurling at times. Normally around 2 a.m. on a Sunday or Saturday. The shinty normally happens the next day after a cuppa. And let's go Ireland, says Nicole. And Ireland have so many good backs as well, or out as well. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you look through that back line and you see the potential of like Ireland. I feel like Ireland and France for me are the two real up and coming sides in the European rugby scene at the moment. And I'd love to see Ireland in a World Cup, at least semi-final, because I don't think they've ever made it to a semi, have they, in the Rugby World Cup? And Scousers from Liverpool. And then also 2 a.m. Shinty, that's dedication. And there, but it looks like now Joey Carberry, his night will be over, and Johnny Sexton making his way out there. Jacob Stockdale too, says Smitty there. Yeah, that's the thing. Taking out players and still seeing them play well, I think, is a good sign for the Irish going forward. Currently now, Johnny Sexton going to be rearing to go. And also Scouse is named after Lobscouse, dish of lamb stew. We call it a lobby in Stoke. Says Dan Smith. That's not your name. It is Darren Smith. I think I was thinking of Dan Sheehan, who is out on the field at the moment. He is Johnny. And there says Katie Dixon, taken nicely by the Irish number 8. I think that was Caelan Doris. Once again, gives him bar, goes back across. Nice backline movement for Ireland, and it is a thing of beauty when it's working. That was a knock on, though. So that time it did not work, and I think France have played about 3 World Cup finals, says David. So, I mean, are they due to finally get themselves that win in a final at home as well? Be a perfect opportunity. James Lowe looks like he's got a little cut under the eye. Jack Conan now making his way out onto the field. Also, my auntie is from Limerick, and she keeps telling us how great they are at hurling and Gaelic footy. And then, oh no, let's hope he doesn't get a concussion, says Gareth. And I mean, yeah, Johnny Sexton, he's definitely a veteran for them. And I think he will be there for the World Cup. I've just got that little bit of a feeling. It will be him, Carberry, and Byrne, I believe, will be the 3 fly halves that they go with. Even if Johnny Sexton's just going with them as more of like a, I guess, mentor / occasional game type role. That's going to be a loose ball, Monty Ioane. I would claim it. Very slippery out there, though. Does end up going into touch, and now the Irish will have the line out. Still 25 minutes left in the second half of this matchup. The bonus point in favour of Ireland. They've got themselves 5 tries so far. We'll be probably looking for about 7 or 8, I would say, for them to say that they've had a good game yet. Like overall, like looking at the scoreline, yes, it's going to change in the later stages, but Italy, for me, with 13 men, haven't done too badly. And I feel like that sounds like a weird statement to say for 29-6. But that's probably what a lot of people expected the score to be with 15 on 15. Matt Hansen now looking like he's going to be trying to change it, puts the banana kick forward, and Monty Ioane able to clean it up now, having to run sideways. Dan Sheehan almost able to get him. Johnny Sexton in there for the rolling maul. And now that is going to be stuck in there. Everyone jumping on it. They've dragged it down, and it's a scrum fee for Ireland. And definitely looking up Limerick early now. They're the best, or you're the best. I've been wanting to watch Gaelic football too. Apparently, Ty Furlong still plays Gaelic football. And there are a couple more for low, please, says Gareth. Of course, that is for his Super Brew predictions. But Johnny Sexton out to Matt Hansen. Went with the kick on the inside, but straight away Monty Ioane was just under a huge amount of pressure soon as he got that ball. And then Dan Sheehan put in the early tackle almost on him. Johnny Sexton, Henshaw, and O'Mahony all holding him up there. And once that was up there, it wasn't coming down. The Italian, I feel bad for the coach. The wrench of one of those AB's bogey teams, you just can't underestimate the Frogs. That's why they are one of the great teams, says David. Exactly right. And luckily, we've got them in the pool stage, which means we don't have to face them until semi or final, I think it is, if we do get that far for New Zealand. Of course, beautiful. The set play emotion. Johnny Sexton steps on the inside, offloads it, sells the dummy, goes himself Lowry, and he gets himself his second try. And now in 56 minutes, it's going to be another one. And it was the youngster, and Lowry, who does score it. And I'll still say my same statement. Oh, they're checking this one. Maybe it's forward. But it's all of the players who you don't really expect to score tries, really. They have been scoring quite a few of them throughout this match. And I feel like that's a good thing for Ireland. Okay, they're going to be checking this one. I don't want to add it to his name just yet because we're going to have to go upstairs, make sure that this is going to be a try. Oops, and there's and there it says Katie Dixon and a Lowry try. Right, did this go? I think they're checking if it travelled forward for Johnny Sexton. I think that's forward. Oh, that angle's backwards. The try is good. And that is going to be Lowry's. Now, second try of the day, we will go like this. And we will go like this and give him another little one next to his name. So currently sitting on 2 tries. Can he get the hat trick here in this game for Mike Lowry? And also do it. There's a reason why Irish are great at athletics. So rugby, or in rugby, the GAA are great at producing talent. Says Fletcher there in Ireland. Best finish in Rugby World Cup is quarterfinals knocked out by Australia on both occasions, says MX Joy. So yeah, I think they're due to be able to get themselves a bit further in the World Cup. Like, I know that people say that pretty much every World Cup for Ireland, but the squad that they're building here, I have a lot of faith in to be able to go long. Johnny Sexton, I mean, he should be there for the World Cup, but it's hard to tell. Another injury might be the end of Sexton, but that's going to be going over for his kicking. And now the score moving up to 36 points to 6 now. In these two sides, we will go like this. My mouse is misbehaving. There we go. And also, great win by the Hurricanes, says Jeffrey. What a game it was. Like that one, like probably one of the best Super Rugby games I've seen in a little while. That angle looks a little bit closer to forward when you look at that angle, but the other angle did make it look back. And also, we have got a couple more follow, please, from a little bit earlier on. So, next try of the match, ladies and gentlemen, are we saying it will be a back or a forward? I feel like that's a better way of asking the question. An Irish back, an Irish forward, an Italian back, or an Italian forward. It's got a few more options for yourself. I'm going to go Irish forward, even though deep down I'm thinking Irish back. Tyke Furlong tries his way forward. Jamison gives him back into the pocket. And James Lowe kicks it downfield. Aren't Ireland in a tough ball? They are, I believe, for that World Cup grouping. I'm actually going to have a look at the pools while we're at it, because I know that France have New Zealand in their pool. Australia have Fiji and Wales every year. And it's another one. It seems I'd like to see some orange card. 20 minutes bin doesn't ruin games, says Smithy. And that's actually, it's something that they have incorporated into, they did it for the Rugby Championship last year. It was a 20-minute red card. It's a good kick downfield from Matt Hansen. And now jumping on that one, it's going to be Padavani. Now he has to try and work his way up from only being 1 or 2 meters away. That's going to be in the hands of the Italians in degree. Jeffrey Hurricanes, fantastic win there. But yeah, in the Rugby Championship and also in one of the New Zealand competitions, they had a 20-minute red card that they did bring in, which pretty much means after 20 minutes, you're not allowed to come back out onto the field, but they're allowed to replace you. So I think that's a good one to kind of have, just because it doesn't kill off a game with momentum. If, like, because some red cards are understandable as red cards, but some of them are pretty strict compared to a Jan Sheehan now. Going to have another line out throw. 20 minutes left here for Ireland to try and increase that points differential by just a little bit more. And 16-10, says Jeffrey. So St. George beat them. So that would have been in the preseason, wasn't it? And also, make sure Ireland got knocked out by Wales in the 2011 quarterfinals. Says Flesh in there as well. So, yeah, I hope they do well. Ireland, I think they've got South Africa in their group. I'm going to go down to the World Cup standings, see what I can find. But currently, Ireland sitting 15 meters out, doing a bit of multitasking here, firing it back now. The Rugby League World Cup, or the Women's World Cup, is actually this year, 195 days, which will be an interesting one. Now, Ireland back to Mac Hansen. Big Tyke Furlong trying to step. He tried to back himself. Does get wrestled down by Monty Ioane and Charity Shield Rugby League. And there says Jeffrey Fockett for that one. And now going back, Kilcoyne going forward nicely. Jamison gives him back, ball on the inside to Mac Hansen. He was now drops the ball backwards there. Still available. Now out to Tyke Furlong, drawing pass. Out to Larry, tries to duck under the tackle of Ioane. Good clean out from Furlong. Now gives him Park. Going back across to Dan Sheehan and also Tyke in there, says Katie Vu. She thinks we'll be able to get the try back. Josh Brandon Fleury drops it and almost going through. I think he would have liked the quick hands to Tyke Burn there. Just not quite able to link up. So the tables at this stage that are announced, we have got New Zealand, France, Italy, Uruguay, and Africa 1. That is Pool A. Pool B is South Africa, Ireland, Scotland, Asia/Pacific 1, which will more than likely probably end up being Samoa, I think it will be. And then also Europe 2, which could actually be Romania or maybe Georgia, someone along those lines. Pool C is Australia, Wales, Fiji, Europe 1, and the final qualifier winner. And then Pool D is Argentina, England, Japan, Samoa. So it's not Samoa. It's probably going to be Tonga, in fact, in that other group. And then America's too. But Finley Bealham now making his way out onto the field for the Who's the Hurricanes playing this weekend coming, says Jeffrey. They have got the Highlanders as the upcoming one. And one moment, I can go like this, and I can let you know the time as well. It is going to be at 7:05 p.m. on Saturday night. The Chiefs playing the Blues in that game prize. So those are going to be two exciting New Zealand derbies that we will get to see. And Western Force versus Reds, I believe, will probably be a Sunday afternoon game. But I like that. But Moana Pacifica having their first game possibly up against the Crusaders, if it can take place, that is. Currently, a couple more subs have been made, and that is going to be Kieran Treadwell now out on the field, and Finley Bealham, who's already got a bit of a cut, I think, on the side of his cheek. just tells you he's been working hard in the warm-ups, I guess. But now it's going to be the scrum feed. Like I mentioned, it's going to be uncontested kickoff now between Chelsea and Liverpool. I do see some tough groups here, or some tough groups there, Hamish, says David. Yeah, I would say the one with South Africa, Scotland, and also Ireland, that's going to be a tough one. And also Australia, Fiji, and Wales. I feel like Wales have got the potential of trying to cause an upset. Lamaro looks like he's going off the field maybe for an HIA. Head injury assessment. And that is going to be now Pettinelli does make his way back out onto the field. The starting number 6 for this game. Will the Women's World Cup happen? How bad are the COVID restrictions now in New Zealand? They're still pretty strict overall, but hopefully we will get some form of I'd like to think by then the numbers would have gone up and then decreased again, hopefully. Also, who wins? Says Jeffrey Fockett. I assume we're talking Liverpool versus Chelsea. I think Liverpool will sneak it. I realize saying sneak it in a game of football is pretty much like just, I guess, one goal difference, but they have got the potential. That's a knock on there from James Hume. Not what he would have been after. And it looks like Italy have been able to flick that one back out onto their side. Now looking to use their backline. They've still got the advantage if they need it, and that is probably going to be right now that they will need it. No, has to release it there in the breakdown for it. It was Kieran Treadwell now putting up the high kick. It was full sky and Eggs. Made it tonight for dinner, says Michelle there. Kicks it in mine. I did end up, what did I have for tea last night? I think I ended up having the pizza that I mentioned about, just because I was like, for some reason, you know, when you just feel like pizza. And Highlanders versus Hurricane, who wins? Oh, it's a good one. It's a good game. I think it's always a close one between those two sides, and always just meters carried through the roof. I think they had almost most meters carried in a single game of rugby, and that one at Forsyth Bar a couple of years ago. So I'm going to say, I think the Hurricanes, after what I saw from them in their first game, it looks like they should be able to possibly get themselves the win. But Highlanders as well, maybe they find their first win just to cause a little bit more trouble. That was almost dropped by James Lowe, but still manages to get the kick away downfield off the left boot. And now Italy will have themselves the line out from about 35 out. That looks like a bit of a limp there for Neymar. And this was a bit of skill from the big number 17. He actually ended up flicking it out the back. Monty Ioane with a good run to then link up with the man on the outside as well. They're still trying here, Italy, for a try in Ireland from Gareth into the chat. But there's so much sport coming up in the near future. We're going to be covering as much of it as physically possible on the channel. I think tomorrow night I'm going to be making my schedule for March and April. And there's some stuff. I think I've got about, probably, not even joking, probably about 100 screenshots of different fixtures for all sports that we're thinking about, maybe considering that was a big hit on the Italian by Caelan Doris, or it might have been Beard, in fact, with that extra height. And Hamish, what is the deadline to submit questions for Maxi again? Please and thank you, says Katie. So I'll probably end up setting up the question poll tomorrow. So it will just be a community post, and then you guys will be able to ask your questions. That way I can screenshot them and then put them in the video so you guys get a little shout out for it as well. Monty Ioane tries to keep the ball in, but it was out, and now Ireland are going to have themselves their line out throw, I believe. The only thing I'm wondering is why aren't there 5 red cards every game? Some consistency isn't much to ask for, says Taffy Ducks. And yeah, that's the thing. They need to make sure that, because we do see many times, a contact to the chin, that happens in about 3 out of 4 breakdowns type thing. So they need to make sure, if they are going to referee it, they've got to make sure that they get all of them, or they get, so I was about to say get all of them or none of them, but probably don't get none of them, because some of them probably are bad enough to get cards. That one, though, today, I'd say I was very unlucky. And do you think they'll move the Women's World Cup if it gets put back again, says Fleshin? They might consider going somewhere else just to try and get it done, because we are, I guess, just eagerly waiting for Hurricanes versus Highlanders, who wins on March 5th. I'd say Hurricanes sneak it, but it could be Highlanders. They won what a game that Hurricanes versus Blues was. Epic last-minute win for the Canes, says David the Mod. And also, so we got, it was going to be a community post, says Katie, no worries. But we will probably end up, that's the thing, I've taken some screenshots from other live streams, and I feel like I want to be able to put them up on the screen as well. So I'm not too sure how I'm going to do that. Maybe I'm going to reshuffle or do something along those lines, see how I can work it out. And who do you think will win the Six Nations? For me, personally, it's between Ireland and France. But France currently, unless they lose to Wales or England, they have got maybe the Grand Slam. It's around the corner, but Zanon now will be making his way out onto the field for Italy. Currently 15 minutes left. But for me, Ireland have got the potential as long as England or France end up beating. Oh, that's a big carry forward from, I believe that was big Brian Stein. But yeah, I would say, oh, that's a good hit from Finlay Bealham. Every time I'm about to finish the sentence, there's a big hit in this game. They've got the advantage now for Italy. But yeah, I would say it's between Ireland and France. Myself, it's going back for the penalty there. And hoping England, after Wales didn't beat them, and also as long as Ireland and France don't, I'll be happy, says Staffy Ducks. That's actually another point. England are still in the running also, because they just need a couple bonus points. And if France lose up against Wales or England and they lose by more than 7, that changes the whole thing. But Finlay Bealham committing big time, nailing Ivan Neighbour, I should say. I see there's a mighty Legion one in the MLR today, says Sebastian inside of the 22, and now James Lowe kicking it down. Robbie Henshaw doesn't look like he quite knows where he is. I think maybe a head injury assessment. And Hamish Bro tomorrow should win New Zealand. And early wickets took 250 target as possible, says Vishal. And for me, I think at this stage, 270 or 280 or so, I would say if we can get them out for under that, I'll be pretty happy with that one. And there's still a bit of a chance for the Kiwis. Robbie Henshaw, he's going to have to go off the field. Not too sure what happened. I think it was a head injury assessment. So because of that, it is actually going to be Gary Ringrose has to come back out onto the field, and Wales at home. It's a big ask for France, says Gareth. That is true. Principality Stadium can do wonders for the Welsh side. I'm looking forward to it. That's actually only a couple of weeks away, isn't it? Now kicked it behind there for Matt Hansen trying to get the bounce of the ball. He had it, but he did go into Dutch. They lost to the Seawolves. But other than that, they've been doing amazing. And Tiffy Ducks, Irish, mate. Definitely Ireland or France, says 36 purple. And also England have got, always in the equation, says that David the Mod. They do have that kind of, I guess, just not really luck, but just skill of being able to keep in a competition right till the end, except, of course, for last year's Six Nations. That's the one exception for them. But they've got 2 wins with bonus points, England, is the big thing. So if they can continue that and they get a bonus point win in their next game and France lose and don't get a bonus point, England could still get there. Scotland, I don't believe can. Wales can't. But it's out of those 3 top teams at the moment. Now, once again, it's going to be now available for Italy, only 5 metres out from their line. Agree. Media and their loons will write Wales off completely, but Wales are different gravy at home in the Six Nations. And yeah, we know what they can do at Principality. Definitely, if I know that they've got quite a few injuries at the moment, don't they, Wales? So hopefully in a couple more weeks, we might see a few of those injuries coming back. I like the fact that they've got, who was it? Who am I thinking of? Falatau. Talupe Falatau back and just jump back in. Amish shouldn't Ireland be filling their boots right now? What's happening, says Darren. I think that's the thing. Even though they are playing against 13, Italy just stealing that line out. They're playing well, the Italians, for the circumstances. But Ireland also, I think their discipline's let them down a little bit here. They've given away about 10 or 12 penalties, I believe it is, at this current point in time. So they'll be looking at that and knowing that someone such as an England will probably end up just taking 3s every day of the week. It's an awkward whale for what a Seawolf is. There, and also Eyebrow says, Roman, welcome in. And also I see I'm going to laugh my head off if both England and Wales beat France. It's a try. And it's going to be now Ryan Beard who gets it. In this game, still, other than probably James Lowe, has been try scorers who we don't normally get to see score too often. But Ryan Beard does get himself another one. I guess you're their lucky charm possibly there, and just came back and they did just score their first try for a little while. Second of the second half as well there for them. And also Katie Dixon, are you from the States? My wife's family are from Baltimore, Old Glory. And there's Fleshin. It was charged down in the end by Ryan Beard and being able to pick it up beautifully and score himself the try. And also that's why Hamish, the Irish should have a bigger score, says Dav the Mod. And also isn't that the Scientologist cruise ship, says Fergus, says it was Gareth there. And Eyebrow says Roman a little bit earlier on. Welcome in, mate. Currently, I think the Irish heard us. They were like, hang on, these guys are right. We should have more tries. Just charge it down, score it nicely for Ryan Beard there. Because of it, does it lead to him getting a try. But anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And yes, sir, I'm from Albuquerque, or I'm in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Old Glory is a fantastic team, says Katie. I haven't actually had a chance to watch too much of the MLR yet this year. And I feel like once test match cricket is over, I'm going to have so much more spare time. Although saying that the NRL, AFL, and everything else is about to start up, and a T20, an ODI World Cup, the screen's gone black. But for us here in New Zealand, I think they're having some technical difficulties with Aviva. It's probably the Wi-Fi. It's quite far away currently. We don't know what's going on. And hey, says Assassin, welcome into Livestream. An Orca fun fact, they're actually dolphins, rogue dolphins. They're called killer whales, but that was a naming mistake. They actually kill whales, and we're supposed to be named killer whales or whale killers, says Sebastian. That is a fun fact. And Beast, Matawira or Matawari, I just call him Beast because I can't say his last name. It's supposed to play at Old Glory, right? What happened is he's still there. I think he's still over there, but he's just not playing. I don't think he's playing in the next couple of weeks. I don't know whether that's an injury. And also, when we commentate on your first premiership game, you'll be amazing, and we'll open up a massive audience. Make sure you do your research, which I know you will. And there says Darren. So Gallagher Premiership, I think, is that the one we are talking, Darren? We have done, I think, about 20 of the Gallagher Premiership games in the past. We haven't done one in recent times because they do overlap a little bit. But we've done a bit of the Premiership in the past. Unless, of course, we're talking about maybe the Japanese top league. No, they have called that the League One, haven't they? And sorry for the interruption. We're doing our best. Get back on air is the message that I've just got from Sky. So I think they're having a couple of technical difficulties now. English Premiership. Oh, as in like the football side of it, I just realized, rather than Gallagher Premiership. I'd like to do some of it. Like, I think it would be on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel. They were doing, and names are fascinating. And there's Katie for Miss Noma. Okay, so we've got technical difficulties at the moment. I'm not sure whether that's just us at Sky. Have you guys who are watching the game overseas also got technical difficulties? Or is it just us in New Zealand are experiencing it? And second bonus point at 50, I think, says Assassin Carter. Do you get another bonus point? I don't think they give out more than just the one, unfortunately, for Ireland. And also, we've got their beast is too busy learning how to be woke in his new cardigan, says Gareth. But yeah, it will be weird whether or not. So you guys who are watching the game in the Northern Hemisphere, have you also got technical difficulties? No difficulty in England. Okay, so it's just us in New Zealand who are having a few problems. But currently 43 points to 6 in this game. We've got to wait till Sky get this one back up and running. But there's been plenty of tries for the Irish. I believe 6 in total so far in this match that we'll be looking to continue to build. But the Ireland try scorers that we have seen so far, it was Carberry who was able to score in the 4th, Gibson Park scoring in the 24th, and then Lowry scored twice, Omani, and then Lowe and a Beard. I think someone called the score, didn't they? Someone called it, says Katie Dixon, and also I can see the game still here. So it must be Sky who are having their technical difficulties. I'm still looking at the scoreboard, making sure that if any try is scored, can keep you guys updated about it. But hopefully the technical difficulties don't last too long. They've got so for the interruption. We're doing our best to get back on the air. I bet you everyone at Sky in New Zealand is probably asleep. Like, they're like, it'll be fine. It's the Six Nations. Nothing can go wrong. And also never been out west, done the whole of the eastern seaboard and been to New Orleans. I was booked to go out west and south when we got locked down. And also, if you do Premiership game, please do Manchester United versus Liverpool, please, says Darren. When is that one taking place? I know that I'm keen on doing the Manchester Derby, and Ireland is my long lost lover, says Cormac there. And at the moment, I'm feeling a little bit of separation, I guess, anxiety with Ireland because, like, the Sky coverage in New Zealand has dropped out. I don't know what they're doing at the moment. Ireland could be flying down the wing, doing cross kicks and all sorts, and we would have no idea over here. And also, man, I've always wanted to go to New Orleans. That's such a gorgeous area, but I'm a weirdo Jimmy Buffett fan. And the says Katie Dixon, is it at least looking decent at the moment, Sebastian, for them? It's one for Ireland, but they are just trying to fix the technical difficulties in New Zealand. Imagine if this was what happened for the World Cup final. I feel like everyone would be losing their minds at this point in time. Hey, it's back. No, it's not. Guys, what regrets the interruption of this program. We are working hard to restore normal service. That's what we have just got. And we've got some highlights from the Blues versus Highlanders, or the Blues versus Hurricanes, in fact, from a few years ago. that's not ideal. Hopefully we do get it back very soon. I'm going to get the Six Nations up on my phone, though, see what I can find out. Because currently we are sitting 43 points to 6. At this point in time, Ringrose gets man and ball on the wing and fielded Van der Fleur and Conan Casey back to the right for them. Oh, it's a yellow card, and that's going to be for Stain at this point in time. So a yellow card, another card for Italy in this one. And if you can't watch the rugby, blame the Russians in there. And also, Katie Dixon, you need to go. It's a great place. He's flesh in there. Currently 5 minutes to go in this one. And Bram Stain, the replacement number 19, has ended up going out there. So New Zealand is in Six Nations blackout right now. Says Katie, they are indeed. Unfortunately, just the last thing you want for the last 10 minutes of a game. I'm pretty sure Italy is going to be down to 12 here is what they have just put in there. Trying to see exactly what the penalty was for. Okay, Stone to the bin. Deliberate knock on from the 8th man into touch to prevent that break, no more than a yellow card. So pretty much it was about halfway down, and James Lowe busy scoring his hat-trick, and now Liverpool to lose, says Cormac. And a great, says Katie Dixon there, and it's on the bucket list, says Katie there as well. But currently, any time that there is a try scored or also any type of big update, I will let you guys know, but currently we are just waiting. There we are, we're back, yay. Right, we're ready to go. It's a scrum flag for Ireland, 5 meters out from the line. Uncontested scrums, of course, throughout this one. It's so weird not being able to see the coverage for so long. But now Ireland is going to come back at the perfect time, and it's going to be wide out to James Lowe, who does score the try. And that is going to be a second one for him in the 75th minute now. James Lowe picks up the try. I feel like that's perfect timing, isn't it? Just coming back when the try is scored, so we don't miss any of the action. Isn't everyone hating on the Russians? There says David Lamont. I think they aren't very popular at the moment in the world. And James Lowe, try. And then go, oh, God, not another yellow card. So, yeah, they're down to 12 at the moment for Italy. Nice back line. Could have tried to go himself there, Larry, but unselfish. Gives it to James Lowe, who scores his second try. And Cormac, it's 50-50. And it says it was from Darren for Liverpool versus... They're currently versing Chelsea, aren't they? I believe. Where are we? Sky Sport Football. They're hiding. Kicked nicely. And that is going to be 50 points now. You get a card, you get a card, you all get a card. And now finally the whistle on the wires has evaporated, says Sebastian there. Yeah, very fortunate for ourselves. And of course, we're talking about the wires at the ground, not my wires. Or else I probably would have been zapped. More than likely. But Chelsea versus Liverpool currently sitting 18 minutes in 0-0 between those two sides for the final with the Carabao Cup. And also Low Butte, says Gareth. And that's the 50, says Katie there. And also her son-in-law's name is George Jones, named after the country singer, apparently, says Fleshin. But now 77 minutes into this game. Points differential of 44 at this current point in time. So that is what Ireland needed to have, a better differential than France at this point in time in the Six Nations. Taken nicely there by Jack Conan. He wrestled down, and the Italians, Garbisi, he's gone off for an HIA again. And OMG Amish, you'll get all Oprah on us. And this is David the Mod. Oh, you're getting all Oprah on us at 59, says Assassin. Currently still trying to continue, get themselves a chance at one more try here for Ireland. Good sell at a dummy from Sexton. Now the big boy, number 16, Rob Herring, offloads it back, but it's taken instead by Italy and 57-12. Come on, try a piece. I can't say. Oh, I can say it's just. Oh, not just cricket, says Gareth. Tell you what, even if you're this close at the moment, it's pretty impressive. And 0-0, says Flesh in there for the football. Currently up to 78 minutes, only 2 left. Oh man, George Jones. I'd name my kid Dolly after Dolly Parton. Oh, Dolly Parton. Sorry, I love her. And also with all the sport happening, it's amazing that we have a roast duck for dinner. Come on, Liverpool, says Darren. But yeah, like that's the thing. Like the sporting world at the moment is flourishing with the amount that we have got. That one has found touch. He kicked it way out. And now can they get themselves one more try? But Johnny Sexton, he's still got it. Sells the dummy, lures into the defender, and then just goes straight around the outside of Fusca. And from there, Herring, he was trying to link up with Jack Conan, but just didn't quite get it right. Now it's going back across Craig Casey. Now Johnny Sexton going for the cross kick, looking for the space. It's going to be sitting up at James Lowe. Oh, no. Taken by Italy, and now 5 meters out. They will have themselves a line-out throw if James Lowe doesn't take it quickly, which he does not. Also, Jolene Dixon, or Dolly Jolene Dixon in there. See, it was Sebastian, and also please don't name your kid Dolly and Jolene. And this is Katie. Currently 79 minutes into this game, and Rob Herring going to be throwing this one in. Can they get a rolling? We'll try the crowd at Aviva, get him behind them. Jack Clonan claims that one. Rob Herring, you can hear the crowd telling them to heave. It's gone down, or has it? It's back up. It's popping up now. Rob Herring trying to get a bit closer. Looks like Craig Casey's going to be taking this one off the back. Tries to go himself. Shouldn't have. He should have passed that out the back line. And now Peter O'Mahony dropping the head. Metre short here for Ireland. And this will be the last play of the game, I would think, if they can get over the line. Finley Beelham with the carry. Around the side, Van den Fleur back in himself, trying to get the leg drive going, and he does just that. Still going himself, Van den Fleur. It's going to be held up, though. And now it will be a goal line dropout with 50 seconds, or in fact 10 seconds left. I'm not having kids. I'm too old in there. Says Katie Dixon. And also we were supposed to get, or to be going to Dollywood. And we got locked down, says Flesh. And also, can we get one more, says Assassin. At the stage, seems like we might get one more late surge. They're checking this one on Josh Van den Fleur. I believe he didn't get it down, though. And 90,000 at Wembley for the Chelsea versus Liverpool game. That is awesome that they are able to have 90,000 in attendance and don't take my man to town. Says Flesh. And this looks like another injury here, unfortunately, and it will be Fischetti now this time. And also, I've actually never been to Dollywood, even though I used to live 2 hours away from Pigeon Forge, and I feel like I let her down, says Katie Dixon there. Okay, Lamara was asking, is that full time? There was 8 seconds left, which now means that once this goal line dropout happens, I think Ireland are going to go for another one more than likely, but that's a good day for Danilo Fischetti. Was able to get himself 6 carries, 24 meters made, also making 12 tackles. That one. But now it is the replacement here, Fusco. We're kicking this one. In fact, I think that's actually Marin who they've passed the ball there for the goal line dropout. This will be concentration for Italy to try and get it as far down the field, I would have thought, as possible, but instead they're actually just kicking towards their own 22. Now Peter O'Mahony takes it. They've got the knock-on advantage now. Craig Casey back to Sexton, sells the dummy. Great distribution from the veteran at fly half. Once again, having this one running forward. Takes on contact, finds the offload to Casey now. Looking for the back line. This could be out to James Lowe, perhaps, if they get the draw and pass by Peter O'Mahony. Gives it off to Lowe with a step, spinning out of the challenge. Going to be wrestled down until it just start. How much time left? Kind of want to watch it, says Katie Dixon. So we are currently 23 minutes into that game. It's 0-0. Jack Conan finds the offload to Johnny Sexton. Not quite. I want to get over the line now. Craig Casey passes it off to the big forward. He got it down. And that is going to be the try for the number 19, Treadwell, to close out this game for Ireland. And they are going to be able to bring it up to 57 now at the end of this one. Aaron Treadwell does end up picking it up, and that is in the 80th minute of this game. One more little bit of icing on the cake for the Irish. And also 25th minute, Katie, and great goal, Hamish. A solid win for Ireland. And then also Alto Furlong said 60 plus, says Katie Dixon. He wasn't a mile off, was he? That one, but Jack Conan, dangerous man to have come off the bench. And bulldozing his way over Treadwell. Very quick to give that one. I'm not sure he got that down as soon as the referee did blow for it, but I think eventually he wrestled it down. Also, if you ever want to watch an amazing atmosphere at a football game, please view the Liverpool Melbourne victory pre-match song, You'll Never Walk Alone. And it says Darren Smith, amazing. And also thank his brother, and also half right, says Gareth. You were close. For that one, you got their exact points, but that is going to be the end of a tough fought defeat for Italy. That's the scoreline that I think a lot of people were kind of thinking we might get to see even without the cards, but Ireland were able to work extremely hard. They do pick themselves up the win. And also, we have got there, Katie, 25 minutes gone, being 0-0, says Darren, but now is going to be the end of this matchup. Thank you for the stream, Irish. Plenty of tries scored throughout Ireland. They will be relatively happy with that second half, the way it went. And also, you're a little behind. Says no worries at all, mate. And Carberry, Gibson Park, Lowry scoring 2 tries. O'Mahony getting himself one. Low able to score the 2 tries. And Beard scoring alongside Treadwell was able to get himself a try right at the end of the day. They are all the tries that we saw from Ireland. And they were able to get up to 57 points to 6 as their win. So that now puts them up into second place, sitting on 11 points. They still need to rely on France losing a game, though. I wasn't too bothered by Dollywood to go to Jack Daniels Distillery. Now, thanks, Hamish. Check you later on. Says Gareth. So we'll see a bit later on. We have got that next live stream, which will be the Black Caps taking on South Africa, and that will be starting at 11 a.m. So we've got about 4 hours that I will be going and having a quick sleep, waking up, rearing to go for another 7.5 hours of live stream. Says the stream. I'll try to be here for the cricket as well. Big love all. Says Sebastian there. So we'll see you a little bit later on. But thank you all very much for tuning into this live stream. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Good stream. Take care, guys. This is Assassin right back at you, mate. And yeah, I will see you all for the cricket a little bit later on in the day. Thank you, Hamish. Take care of your throat. We need your voice, says MH Joy. And yeah, I think sign language for myself, I know about 3 letters, so I don't think I will end up being able to really describe the whole cricket through sign language. So I do need my vocal cords, and just fingers crossed after having a quick sleep, they do stick around, because it wasn't too bad for this live stream, I don't think. My voice seemed to stick around better than I anticipated, which is always good news. But thank you all very much for tuning in. I'll see you all a little bit later on in the day for more Action and By Gang. Says they may have fight, but I'll see you all for the next one.